Welcome in, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fans. Get our heads right on a Tuesday. Great to be here with you. I'm Woodsy. That is back from his Bavarian bachelor party. Not his, but a buddy's. The great Paul Reindl, executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
How was your Bavarian bachelor party?
Very Bavarian.
Was it so Bavarian?
I mean,
just Bavarian cream everywhere?
Bavarian in the sense that we drink a lot of beer and...
That's
about it.
Give me more of that Bavarian cream. Just eating it with a spoon on the river. I want to get some stories from your weekend, but let me introduce the big guy here. Your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, Benjamin Higgins. Good morning, Benny.
Good morning, everybody. Paulie, good to have you back. Good to see you.
Good to be back.
You don't look that extra tan, even though you were out. So maybe a little bit.
The weather looked nice.
Yeah, it was about 80.
I guess Washington isn't where you necessarily go to get tan, but yeah.
Many call it the tropics of the Pacific Northwest.
Saturday, it was hot.
Looks sunny. It looks sunny in your picture.
That was the river floats, and then
how was that? So fun?
It was amazing.
Floating a river is pretty badass. It really is pretty
really
fun.
Done it before.
I've done it.
It's
huge in Texas. It's like an Olympic sport in Texas, river floating.
It was like 2 hours, maybe a little over 2 hours.
That's a blast,
dude. We just were pounding drinks.
Pounding Coors Lights out there, two at a
White
time.
Claws.
Yeah, it's so fun, man.
You get a little rapids, you're like,
whoa,
hey, how we doing?
The best part is securing the 14 cases of Coors Light to the inner tube. Yeah. And then you can push it over to your buddies. They grab one, pop one.
We had the party tube.
It's
just
so
kind of
fun,
floating
man.
around. Yeah, we had a good time.
That's good.
We went back to the house, had lunch, drank some more.
Yeah.
We played a 7-on-7 wiffle ball game in the big yard, which was pretty dope.
That's so fun.
But we stayed out there. We played a 9-inning game. Should have been about 4 innings.
Yeah.
By the 7th inning, we're all just getting just drained by the sun.
Oh, just toasty.
We've been drinking.
Yeah.
Guys are fading.
So good. I love that idea. It's I think by bachelor party standards, it's a pretty tame one. Yeah, fairly.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a nightlife out there.
That's crazy to
There's
me.
2 or 3 blocks of the city.
What's the city again?
Leavenworth.
Leavenworth.
And it's tucked away at the bottom. You are surrounded by the mountains.
That's
you
beautiful.
are right in the middle of the Cascade Mountains, and we're just sitting there, and I'm like, I bet this place looks insane in the wintertime.
Yeah, I bet it does.
And I've seen pictures. I know people that have gone out there. I've never gone out there during the snow, but yeah, no, it was great. There was plenty of bars to go to at night, and we had a good time. It was good to see everybody. Those are, I've known the Bachelor. I've known him since kindergarten.
That's incredible, man.
And we stay in touch. So it was good to see all the guys. I hadn't seen them in a couple of years. The craziest part of maybe the whole weekend was flying home yesterday, 5:45 a.m. flight out of Seattle. And, it's about 6 o'clock. We had just pushed back, getting ready to take off. And I got my headphones on, and they're doing the, if you're sitting in an exit row, they're doing their whole spiel. I haven't listened to one of those in 20 years.
Right.
I got the headphones on. I'm trying to kind of fall asleep. And all of a sudden, flight attendant is going like this. And I'm like, yeah, hi, yeah, I'm good. Thank you. She's like, no. She's waving at me, and I'm like, what the hell? So I take my headphones off, and she goes, Kyle's bachelor party, right? It was his fiance.
Shut up. No way.
And I didn't even look at their face. I just saw a person
waving at you,
saying, take your headphones off or put your phone in airplane mode or something.
Yeah.
Did she interragate you if anything?
Well, so how was it?
Happened?
She goes, I heard you guys had some fun.
You're like, oh god,
I was like, oh my god, Mackenzie, I'm so sorry. I didn't even notice.
Did you know she was a flight attendant?
I did,
yeah.
But I was told she pulled back to part-time for the next couple months.
Wow.
And I had no idea it was with Alaska Airlines. And so I was just like, what are the odds?
That's so random.
Yeah, it was great.
That's so
She goes,
random.
hey, drinks on me this morning.
You're like, please no.
I was like, I'm good.
I need to give me an apple juice and also a Coke and also a water and a coffee. There. God bless. Well, I'm glad you're back. Glad you're back safely. You didn't miss much yesterday, the day before. We had Bald Reindl, 2 days?
We had Bald Reindl Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, he
we
was
had
fine.
Italian Paul yesterday.
He
And
was
we
good.
had Jackson Merrill game-winning plays every single day.
I followed
pretty much
along
while you were
all
gone.
weekend. Pretty fun weekend. I know you guys had the Sunday loss.
Yeah, we
once
had the
again,
Sunday loss. It
which
was fine.
You didn't care.
We really didn't care. The Rally Roach is alive and well. Mwah, Benny. And then I went this morning to the gas station to get some gas. I had 2 miles left in my car. And so I pulled in the gas station here, and I opened my wallet, and look what was tucked in my, I'm going to hide my face with the actual fake roach and my address. But look.
Did you get pranked?
My
April
kids
Fools?
put a roach, not a real roach, but another. So I opened my wallet this morning to this roach tucked in my.
Did you jump?
I was like, what in the? And I was like, sons of, got me again. There's roaches everywhere right now. Before we get started today, I wanted to, if he's up and listening, and I hope he is. My little guy, Bo, starts first grade today. We got a first grader on our hands, and he's a little bit nervous. We went yesterday and did the it was kind of unofficial.
Preview day.
Yeah, but it was unofficial. Like, there were some teachers there, and we actually got to meet his teacher. Hannah went to high school with his teacher, so that's good. We looked at all the kids in his class. He knows several of them. But you go from the kinder area, which is over here, tucked
there's
away.
A jump. There's a jump from kindergarten to first grade.
Then you walk out to it's like walking out.
I'd agree. First to second grade, not much of a
yeah,
jump.
no much. But
Kindergarten to first
literally,
grade, there's a jump.
Kindergarten is separate. It's at the same facility, but it's separate. They got their own fence around it, their own little playground. Then you walk, it's like walking into the Coliseum. He was walking out, he goes,
there may be sixth graders out there.
There will be sixth graders.
There will be sixth graders.
And fifth graders and fourth graders and third graders and second graders. So he's a little bit nervous about that.
Me too.
Yeah, so am I as his dad. But I just told him, hey, man, I said, I watched you take a ground ball off the throat this summer and stay in the game. You're tough, dude. You got this. You can do this. So he's all dialed in for school. Lunch is made, and today is a big day. I wish I could be there, but, listen, you take 5 days off for Hawaii. You probably need to
It's interesting
because
you have taken the first day of school off before.
I'm kind of upset about it, to be honest with you. I kind of am. But I can't just come in here and do an hour and then split. I just can't do it. I was gone for so long, so it doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means Daddy has to work. So kick some ass today. I know you will. But yeah,
sometimes you don't want to make
day.
Too big of a deal
That's
of it as well.
That's the other part, and I know I was last night.
Relaxes them a little more. Like, hey, there's nothing weird about this.
Yeah.
No reason to make it a national holiday. You're just going to school.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I just wanted to be there for him this morning, but listen, I leave so early. There's no way. Jack's in the chat. I'll kill you. He goes, Daddy wasn't there. Yeah.
Daddy wasn't there to take me to the fair.
This is how it started with Paul.
Oh God, and me actually. So, I think that's probably why I'm so domed out by it. So as soon as I get the text later on in the show from Hannah, like, oh, I took him. I know what's coming. I took him.
He didn't want to go.
He was a little scared at first, but now he's much better. And by the time I left, he was playing with Grayson or Braden or Caden or Jaden or Bladen or any
Seven
of
Jacksons.
the 7 Jacksons in his school. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. So Lefty says, Woods, get out of there. Family's always first. Don't miss it. Thank you, Lefty. I will. I'm going to take off. I love you guys. That's it. That's the open, and I'll be back tomorrow. No, man, he's a tough kid, so he'll be fine. But, yeah, it's wild, man. I'm looking back at old pictures last night, of course, weeping, thinking about his very, very first day of school. I believe that was the Mike Clevenger trade day is how I remember it. The first day I went for when he started preschool, I believe, was the Mike Clevenger trade. You guys called me.
2020 COVID short
end
season.
of August.
End of August.
Would have been late in August when school started because it was the late trade deadline. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I'm driving in and I'm like, oh my God, you guys, we got Mike Clevenger. So that's how that went. But yeah, man, obviously a huge dub last night. The Grit Squad, though, is going to be the death of me. They're going to be the death of me, the Grit Squad. I told you yesterday, I tweeted it, I want the blowout squad to show up. When a guy's sporting a 7.41 ERA, I'm going to need a 9-2 victory. I'm going to need it at some point.
So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Mike
matter.
Schilt would tell you a win is a win. Every manager will say that.
Yes.
And they're right. But at the same time, and I was thinking about this as I was driving in, managers want it both ways. They want to tell you that a win is a win and it doesn't matter. But they also want to tell you that when you lose, but you play well and you fight, that does matter.
Right.
So
right.
does a win is a win and it doesn't matter, then a loss is a loss and it doesn't matter. But they never never go with that. Well, yeah, I mean, we lost, so we played terrible. No, they never say that. They'll highlight the positives of the loss, but they'll never talk about the negatives in a win.
No, and it is true that there are these shades of a loss. There's losses where you go out and it's like...
And that's not just Mike Schilt.
No,
That's pretty much every manager and coach, but they want to have it both ways.
Yeah.
A win is a win. You can't say anything bad
say a
because
word.
we won the game.
Yeah, we won the game.
But, hey, if there were positives in a loss, there's definitely some good things to talk about in this loss.
100%.
So
the shades of gray as it pertains to a loss in sports are really fantastic, and there needs to be some sort of deep psychological dive into it. And I understand it. You have a team that you can't let turn into the Chicago White Sox and have 91 losses already in early August. You can't have that. And so I do understand that. But hey, man, at the end of the day, that was another really, really nice win. It all counts as the same. It all counts as one win, whether you win by 10 runs or 1 run or whatever. But it was a really, really gutsy performance last night by quite a few guys that we will highlight today.
All right, we will get into it. It is should be a good show here on a Tuesday. We'll set the menu for you coming up. I will, of course, tease. Jesse Agler will join us, which means, Woods, we need to come up with song lyrics. You've missed the first 2 weeks of Jesse doing Song Lyrics Incorporator. So this is a big moment for you later today.
Excited.
When Jesse joins us. It is a usual West Coast slot of 8:35 this morning. We'll set the rest of the menu coming up.
I haven't talked to him in ages. I haven't talked to him in a month or something. So, yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so we'll let you know what else is coming up on the show today. Obviously, lots of Padres talk after last night's 2-1 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's great to have Paulie back. All of us together for the just the second time in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Here with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's check traffic with Kelly Danick right now, and then off and running on 97.3 The Fan. I think we've talked about this before. Do you guys have work nightmares?
Oh, God.
They're work
Yes.
or
Yeah.
Yeah, I
just
had a
general
gnarly one,
nightmares?
Like a week and a half
Yeah.
ago.
I have them all the time. Yeah, all the time.
I had a very specific TV anchor nightmare last night. It felt very real, though. And I don't usually remember, but I woke up and
Panic.
just kind of in the panic of what it was. And you're going to laugh.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's something psychological about this one.
I'm going to break this down.
So I am.
Spent a lot of time in therapy. I got this.
I've got a television hit coming up, a
Okay.
sportscast at Channel 10, and I know it's about 5 minutes away. But I walk to the mirror to get ready, and I have bedhead, and I don't know how. My hair is just everywhere, and I can't get it. I can't get it to like hold down. I like try combing it, and it just pops back up, and I try putting water on it, and I'm just trying to get my hair to get back into place, and it won't do it. And I'm standing there, and I'm trying, and it goes on so long, I miss my hit, and my boss is mad
Oh, my
at me, and
God. You missed your whole
I missed
hit?
my whole thing. I go, well, I couldn't get my hair.
What are you, Joe Davis?
I couldn't get my hair back in place. What am I
I'm trying
supposed
to
do?
get my hair fixed, boss. And I just can't seem
But literally,
to get
like,
it down.
There were consequences and everything, and I go, but what can I do? I don't know how I got bedhead. I've been at work, and
It's
then I
that-
just showed up, and
It's that
was
picture
awful.
of, you know that picture of Will Myers that pops up on the internet every now and then with his hair's
Yeah,
on? He's like,
exactly.
Looks like
it's, what is that? So Jake says that's PTSD. From what?
I don't know.
From what?
It's never happened to me, but
He's
I have
never
bad
done
head
anything.
at work. And,
Like, oh man, that's so
I
good.
mean, I rarely have hair out of place. It's,
That's true.
It's not a problem for me.
Is
so.
it a vanity thing?
I don't think so.
Well, you were being vain in your dream.
Obviously.
You skipped your work
Well,
hit
you
because
can't
you
just go out on TV with big bedhead all over the place.
All right, here we
That'll
go.
live forever.
Oh, this is good. Welsh Fryer. Just look this up. It said mirror dreams, right? If you're looking at yourself in the mirror, symbolize self-reflection, facing truths, and unveiling hidden aspects of yourself. I like that.
I definitely have a lot of hidden aspects,
That's
probably
true.
even to myself.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
No, that's a weird word dream. Was that an actual nightmare? I guess missing
a
the
little
hit.
bit. Yeah, the missing the hit was the
Missing the hit
panicky
is the
feeling
panic.
that you get. That's common in a lot of nightmares for me. It's that panicky feeling that I'm going to miss something. And I think part of it is being in two jobs rely on absolute precision on time.
Being on time.
Being
It's
on
just
time every single time.
our whole lives, minutes and seconds.
Totally. So
It's
that's
crazy.
definitely an obsession in my subconscious that comes out in the dreams a lot.
I've had the one that just makes me still sick, and I have it less now. But it's the one where I wake up and I go, oh my God, dude, you skipped your final and you didn't graduate, bro. I had to, when I lived in the first place I lived with Hannah, this condo, at 3 o'clock in the morning, ran down to the garage, ripped open the thing, and was like looking through boxes to get my diploma out to go, okay, this is real. I did graduate. I am a college graduate. It took me 8 years, but I did get this done. And like clutching it to my chest, going, okay, I did this. Whew. And I have that about once a year, that terrifying dream that I didn't graduate
Luckily,
college.
you have it because you'd be out on your
I'd be out on my butt
at
here.
Odyssey.
Right,
They
right.
check diplomas regularly just to make sure that you graduated.
Without that English degree with a 2.0 grade point average. Wow. Whew. College is important. It's very important.
So, fortunately, it wasn't. It was right at the end of my sleep. So I woke up like panicked, and then I looked at the alarm clock and like, oh, it's going off in 2 minutes. Great. All right, we're done. Okay, it's time to get up for the rest of the day. So that was my nightmare last night, and we'll try to move forward. Here's the menu for today's show, and should be a good one. Obviously, we got our Padres Wrap-Up coming up. 2-1 win over the Pirates last night. We'll talk about Joe Musgrove's return to the mound. Obviously, a huge element to that game yesterday. And then leading all the way up to Jackson Merrill's game-saving catch in the top of the ninth inning with 2 outs. What an amazing play by the kid who continues to do something impressive almost every single day.
Yeah.
This is Jackson
Hi,
Merrill.
Jackson.
If he doesn't do it with the bat, then he does it with the glove or he does it with his arm. I mean, it is truly a really complete baseball player. He can do it with his legs. I mean, Jackson Merrill can help you win ball games in a multitude of different ways. And again, I don't even know why I'm surprised. I don't know why I was surprised the ball found him last night, and I don't know that I was particularly surprised that he made that play. How was your heartbeat last night? Mine was pretty good. 2-0, 2-0 with Suarez coming in. We'll talk about that elite entrance that he had last night, and I felt pretty good about it, as I tend to have been doing lately.
I don't know. I was for most of the game when it was 0-0. I was still worried.
Were you? I just didn't feel that much worry last night.
We're letting them stick around to steal one from us here that they shouldn't be stealing from us.
Well, we could talk about the approach last night when I knew it was moving quickly. I knew it was. But when in the 6th inning, Mudd and Don threw up the Woodford's pitch count per inning, and he's averaging 9-10 pitches an inning, I go, something's off here. What is happening? The guy's got a 7.41 ERA. He's clearly pounding the zone. He's just getting a lot of pop-ups. I think he had 10 fly ball outs. So guys were just getting under it, missing it. That's the most frustrating thing about baseball sometimes. If guys in the zone, you feel like you're seeing it well, and you just can't get barreled to it. So, listen, win's a win, 2-1, and we'll talk about all of it.
We'll have a game of Take on Woods, chance to qualify for our new trip to Las Vegas at Resorts World, and Carrie Underwood tickets coming up at 7:10. Don't Do This is at 7:20, and I will say Jackson Merrill's play of late has spun out the people who had already decided that Paul Skeens was going to win the Rookie of the Year award.
Well, it's also spun out the network that does everything they can to take a big, giant dump on the San Diego Padres at any and every opportunity. Never forget when the three of us sat in here, Paulie pointed up to this TV screen. He goes, "Can you believe this?" And we all turned around and looked up. Teams that should rebuild by Brian Kenny. And the San Diego Padres were on it. The New York Mets were on it. These were teams that he said they just don't have it. They're not going to get it, and they need to rebuild. I'm so glad that A.J. Preller didn't say, "You know what, Brian, you're probably right. Let's rebuild. Let's tear this thing down." Oh, my God, at this point.
14 games above 500 and playing some of the best baseball in
the Red Sox were
league.
another team.
Red Sox were on there.
They're in the hunt.
They're in the hunt. Yeah, they've slipped a little bit, but yeah, they're in the hunt.
Cardinals.
I think damn near every if somebody has that graphic, please send it to me, because I think damn near every team was like, "Hey, F you, pal," and then just started to run away with it. So if anybody has that graphic, please send my way. But yeah, man, I mean, it's it does. It's why we've kind of avoided earlier in the season saying it's early, because we didn't want to put that out there, because it can't be the players' mentality, especially after last year. But it is a really shining example of, yeah, it was early. It was early. They figured it out. They promised they would get better as the season progressed, and they absolutely have. So I guess you got to take them at their word, Benny. They're doing everything they said they would do.
Now, it's still somewhat early in that it's hard to play this well for another 2 months.
No doubt.
You know, what it takes to go through the playoffs. So I would imagine there's still going to be some ups and downs.
Sure.
Before we're done.
I got
here.
the Brian Kenny.
But you're building. You're building right now.
So who are the teams on the Brian Kenny must rebuild list?
It was the Boston Red Sox at 26-24, the Padres at 26-26, the Cardinals at 23-26, and the Mets at 21-28.
All right, so all of those teams are currently in a playoff spot or very much in a wild card race. The Red Sox are 2 games out of a playoff spot. Padres are 4 games up on a playoff spot. The Mets are a game out of a playoff spot, and the Cardinals are 2.5 games out of a playoff spot. Nice job, Brian.
Yeah, very well done.
Nice job identifying the rebuild teams for this season.
That network, man, and I watch it quite a bit throughout the day, and there's parts of it I like, parts of it I don't enjoy. But I think sometimes when they get a chance to take a shot at the little guy, they do it. You know, they do it with no fear at all, because they expect the worst to happen. And, you know, things have certainly changed around here the last few weeks, and it does feel good to be on the winning side of it, certainly, and finding a way to win ball games. So let's get into No Joe and Java Joe and all the good stuff that happened last night.
Yeah, second half of the show, Jesse Agler, as mentioned, 8:35. Paulie will have a Reindl Report. Good to have him back at 9 o'clock. And we've got some tickets to give away to Journey and Def Leppard coming to Petco Park. So stay tuned for your chance to win some concert tickets for the show on August 30th. Coming up pretty soon. We'll let you know how to do that all ahead with Ben and Woods. But up next, our Padres wrap-up of last night's, yet again, 1-run win for your San Diego Padres. Coming up next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. What a crowd last night. I mean,
Unreal, man.
obviously they were giving away the Gwynn Henley, but it doesn't seem to matter. Huge crowds every night. Heard him talking on MLB radio this morning. Monday against the Pirates,
Yeah.
45,000 plus people. That's like nuts. They don't even believe the kind of support that the San Diego Padres are getting. So good job, Padres fans. Not only was it that many people, but it felt like a weekend, felt like a playoff atmosphere on a Monday night in the dog days of August against a team that had lost, I think, 7 in a row going into that game, and now 8 in a row, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Well done, San Diego. You're impressing everybody across the country with your passion for Padres baseball. And it ended up being a pretty good game. We will go through it here. Our Padres wrap-up coming up. All the highlights with Jesse, and Tony was back last night as well. Coming up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, anybody out there on the roads is liking the ride. Start to see the usual slowing in the usual spots, but at least no incidents or accidents getting in your way. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Oh, my God, I'm so stiff.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
What up, crew?
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
I like it when the Padres win.
Yeah! Yeah! It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. Yeah!
Give me a do damage.
Do damage!
Musgrove ahead of him, 0-2. Kiner for left at first, 2 away. Joe, long pause at the belt, great at controlling the running game. And the pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him to go up after a fastball that was out of the zone. And the first strikeout back for Joe Musgrove will end the top of the second inning. Here's the 2-1. And Rice smacks it in the air to left center field. Taylor, long run on the move, gets there and kind of falls over to make a nice running grab and end the inning. A 1-2-3-6 for Jake Woodford. 1-2 to Reynolds. Estrada delivers, swing and a miss, strike 3. Went back to the splitter and got it. Third strikeout of the inning for Jeremiah Estrada. No runs, a hit, and 2 left. 3-1. Here's the pitch. Xander swings, pokes it the other way, through into right field, and a base hit. Profar trots in to score, and Xander gets it done. It's 1-0.
Professional hitting at its finest. The Pirates crack the door, and Xander Bogaerts kicks it open.
1-0. San Diego in the 8th inning. 2-2. Here's the pitch. Higashioka swings, sends it in the air to left field. Pretty well struck. Reynolds is back. About a step and a half in front of the fence. He makes the catch. Both runners will tag. Johnson will score. Kim to third. Sac fly Higashioka. And a 2-0 Padre lead.
Again, executing at a very high level.
De La Cruz at second. 2-2 to count. Here's the pitch. McCutcheon swings, hits it sharply off the glove of Cronenworth. It'll trickle out into right field. De La Cruz rounding third will come in and score. And it's 2-1 with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. Now the 3-1. Reynolds swings, hits it in the air towards right center. Merrill on the move, dives, reaches down, and he made the catch. How about a hang-a-star to end a game? Jackson Merrill did it all week with the bat, and tonight with the glove, he ends the game. There will be no challenge, and the Padres beat the Pirates again. Final score of 2-1.
What a terrific closeout play by none other than Jackson Merrill.
He got a good beat on it immediately, came off the bat, and clearly it's getting in some space. But I had a really good view actually, and he got a great beat on it. You could tell his jump was great, his route was great, and there's no question about his determination and his ability to catch it. So it was a, as they would say, hang a gold star on it.
I will admit that when that ball was in the air, my first instinct was play it on a bounce, be safe, don't let the runner from first score. I thought that's got to be your first priority there as a center fielder. You can't let that ball get past you, because if it does, the Pirates tie the game. If you play it on a hop a little more carefully, all right, they'll probably have first and third, but you got Suarez with one more chance to get out of that inning. Shows what I know.
That's why you're here.
And Jackson Merrill is there. And what Jackson had to say after the game from the UT, he said, I was lined up pretty far on the left side, and it was layout or nothing. In that situation, I don't think there's a way I can field that and throw it in. I think I have to go get it, try to catch it. It was one of those blackout adrenaline moments that happens.
It was amazing. It was an amazing catch. We spent about 30 minutes in here looking for the catch probability. And I will say I'm a little surprised by the results of what you found, Ben. What was the percentage?
64%.
See, that blows my mind.
Better than 50-50 because he was going to catch that ball.
When Brian Reynolds hit it, I went, and then I saw this young 21-year-old gazelle, sliding over and making that play. Game over. Beats you in so many different ways, does Jackson Merrill. And really the San Diego Padres find a way to beat you with some unsung heroes last night, like Donovan Solano. And not his bat, his glove. Kevin Acee wrote a little blurb in his newsletter about Solano and how he's been working with Manny. He says, I talk a lot with Manny. I say, teach me. You're the ministro. What do I need to do? And he gave me a lot of advice about moving and throws. He helps me a lot. He sees me make plays in practice. I stop and throw. He says, no, don't do that. Use your momentum, catch it, try to find a way to throw it. So he did that. He did that in a couple really nice plays last night from Donovan Solano. And just guys stepping up. Kyle Higashioka. Bryce freaking Johnson. How about that move from the skipper, Mike Schilt? They bring in a lefty, and they're like, all right, now pinch hitting. Bryce Johnson. You're like, Bryce Johnson, really? Okay. Rips one down the line, and next thing you know, Higgy drives him in.
You might think I'm nuts.
I kind of did a little bit, but I'm glad it worked out, and Bryce Johnson started that rally that got us the winning run.
So, and you pointed out that Solano was at third base. Padres won that game, and while it was 2-1 and it was tense, they were able to get Manny a day off. First time in 50 games, I think it was, that Manny got a full day off. So, and it's kind of, when you look at how the schedule plays out, I thought that was very strategic of Mike Schilt. So they had the East Coast game on Sunday, which ended around, 1 o'clock San Diego time. So that's now going to be about 54 hours between games for Manny. So, that's 2 full days plus between games. And then with an off day on a day game on Wednesday and an off game on Thursday, he'll have another 2 full plus days between games, 48 hours plus between games. So that really gives Manny a nice breather this week as the Padres head into the home stretch. And beginning Friday, of course, they've got 18 games in 18 days, and they'll probably need Manny for all of those. So they were not only able to get the win, they were able to do it while giving their, number one player a day off that was probably overdue with how much he's been playing lately after, early in the season when he'd take a day off every, third or fourth day or take a DH day, has not been happening. He's been out on the field every single day, batting cleanup for the Padres pretty much every single day. And it was good to be able to get Manny a day off and not have it cost you a win.
Cole Schmidt in the chat, he also got Orsillo'd last night because I got Orsillo'd as well.
Jesse didn't do
Jesse
it.
did not.
I hadn't heard that until this morning.
I was also listening for that because Orsillo got me with Higgy, and I thought that was a second tank. Like I thought that was deep into the night. I thought when
he hit it, I saw just a little bit off toward the end of the bat, and I thought I don't think this is going to have enough. Even though Don got very excited. I mean,
I never want to quell Don Orsillo's excitement ever.
And
Kyle
Higashioka pulling the ball has been pretty much a home run every single time when he gets it in the air. But something about that one goes, I don't know. I know it was at least a sacrifice fly, though, which is all you're really looking for in that situation. One more insurance run, you feel really good about Robert Suarez in the ninth inning. And while he did give up a run, it only scored because of the defensive indifference. He wouldn't have been on second base if they hadn't let the guy go over to second.
Well, and that play and
Jake could have made that play. It was a tough one.
Yeah.
But Jake makes that play at least half the time. So I don't think that was a huge concern for Robert Suarez there in the ninth inning. Got his 26th save there.
That's been incredible, man. Just been incredible. And let's talk about Joe Musgrove, right? That the most nerves I had about last night's game was how is Joe going to do? The adrenaline is through the roof, wants to be back with his team, wants to be contributing to this incredible season. And, yeah, you're obviously a nervous wreck about it. You just don't know what he's got. I thought the velo looked good. I thought the slider was sharp at times. I thought, yeah, there was probably a couple that he hung. But, man, I think that's pretty normal after coming back and not having a lot of innings under your belt at all. But really seemed to have a good feel for a lot of his pitches, had some big Ks and big moments. And I was really impressed with Joe Musgrove. And hopefully he wakes up today and feels fantastic and is ready to build on that in the next start. But he looked great. He looked great to me.
Yeah, efficient. Only one strikeout.
Yeah.
But, it's not, I don't think that's a reason for concern. What you didn't see was the new sweeper that he had developed in spring training this year in the offseason during training. And another report here from Kevin Acey in the UT is that his bone spur, which he's had for a while in his right elbow, became symptomatic, and Joe believes that happened when he started throwing the sweeper. So sounds like he's going to put that pitch on the shelf for his health to see if because he wants to avoid surgery. A lot of guys pitch with bone spurs in their careers, and it's okay. Joe says, though, it's his understanding that 20 to 25% of pitchers who have surgery on their bone spurs end up having to get Tommy John surgery. So he doesn't want to increase the chances later that he's going to need Tommy John surgery by getting the bone spur surgery first. So he's going to try to pitch through it and hopefully maybe taking away the sweeper. He changed some mechanics. That was talked about, before the game yesterday as well, to try to relieve some of the pressure on his elbow, get more of his lower body into it. Whatever he did, looked good. Looked good. Velo was good, as you said, and it seemed like the spin rates were good, above where they were earlier in the season.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a guy down the stretch that this team needs. Xander Bogaerts says, "Yeah, man, we don't get to where we're going without having Joe Musgrove doing what he's doing." So I think last night, obviously, adrenaline can mask a lot of things. You see it all the time. Guy gets drilled, by a comebacker in the leg, and he's like, "I'm fine, I'm pitching." And then the next day, he's like, "I'm out. I'm on the IL." I mean, he gets through the game. It happened to Michael King, and it's just one of those things. It can get you through the game. But what he feels like this morning when he wakes up, I think, is the most important thing. And I'm sure the very first text that our skipper, Mike Schilt, will send this morning, the very first one, is to Joe Musgrove. "Hey, bud, how you feeling?" It's the very first text he's going to send because that's the most important thing, getting him back. And then, yeah, man, you go have another one like that and then another one like that. And, next thing you know, you're feeling built up a little bit. So very encouraged by that last night.
Our friend Jeff in the chat says, if you're not a Padres fan, you want to know how much we care about our team, go watch the ovation Joe Musgrove got both coming out for the first pitch and coming off the mound after 4 1/3 innings. We love Joe. I thought, especially when he came out of the game, one of the nicest moments of the season to see Joe get that love, not just from the fans, but his teammates as well, how they all came to the mound to give him a pat on the butt as Mike Schilt took him out, and then in the dugout, all the high fives that he got. I think I heard a curse on the television as well.
Oh, did you?
An F yeah in the
F yeah?
dugout.
Love it.
For Joe as he came in, but it was all in good spirit as that team just glad to have their kind of emotional leader back.
Sure, no question, man. The more guys like that you can have on your squad that are gamers like Joe is, the better. The better you're going to be going down the stretch. These are, how many games left? 42?
42 games.
42 games left. Yeah, man. Being able to run him out there every fifth day is a huge lift for this team. Huge. And, again, credit to the bullpen last night. Brian Hoeing, man, I am hoeing around. I love that guy. He has been great. Everybody
up to 7 2/3 shutout innings with the San Diego Padres, and I think that he was an important part of that trade.
Just such a throw-in type guy. Where you're like, oh, he also got this guy, and Skip texted me.
Don't say that.
What?
Throw in?
Why?
I was listening to Gwen and Chris yesterday.
Yeah,
and they had Brian Hoeing on last Friday.
Yeah.
And that Scraby, fortunately, Chris stopped him. He was going to ask Brian Hoeing, how does it feel to be the throw-in?
Oh, I would never ask him
in
that.
A trade. I know you wouldn't,
ask him that.
But I think he's more than a throw-in.
Well, I do too. I do too.
I think the reason the price was what it wasn't just to get Tanner Scott. It was because they also wanted Brian Hoeing, and he's got control. They'll have Brian Hoeing in their bullpen, I believe, for the next 2 seasons.
Well,
that's almost as valuable as 2 months of an elite,
no doubt,
closer arm in Tanner Scott.
Well, I'd never heard of him. When we made that trade, I had never heard of him. So I went to my source and I texted his manager and said, "Tell me about. I know what Tanner Scott does. what is Brian Hoeing? He goes, yeah, and I sent you guys the screenshot. He's like, oh, he can spot start, he can come in, he can eat innings. He's a dog. He's ready to go. Great. Okay, perfect. So, but
Your source said
was my source. Yes,
Yeah.
Skip Schumacher said that. The guy that he played
How
for.
do you know Skip Schumacher, manager of the Marlins?
You're being so coy.
No, I was. I said.
You're sorry,
I
you
said
did
Skip.
say, oh, you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
Skip? Okay, I just
Yeah.
heard your source.
So no, he's been great so far, man. It's such a valuable piece to have. Is that guy that can do that?
Good bounce back from Estrada. Gave up a
Very,
hit, but
very
3 strikeouts, and get that swing and miss that's so critical for Jeremiah Estrada as well. So the bullpen continues to perform. Now they've been performing a lot, and they expected it last night, obviously, with Joe. Being on that pitch count. I think he ended up at 63, 4 1/3. Couldn't have hoped for anything more than that. No runs,
Not
4
at all.
1/3 innings. That was like dream outcome
The dream
for Mike
scenario.
Schilt, but that still left him with, 4 2/3 more innings to cover with a bullpen that has had to work a lot.
My heart. Once Joe came out, it was like, all right, first box checked. And then when I saw it was Estrada, I went, I like this move because you want to get that guy's confidence back to where it needs to be because he's nasty.
And then I was expecting maybe to see Erdy Ramorejón, but he had the flu and
He had
was
the flu.
unavailable last
Yeah.
night. No guarantee he's going to be back today. Jason Adam had pitched 3 of the previous 4 days, so they were trying to stay away from him. And
Tanner
they
Scott
did.
looked nasty, dude.
But he's now pitched for 4 times in 6 days. Now, Robert Suarez has pitched. Michael King, he's not necessarily been the most efficient guy, and they've certainly not been pushing him on innings because they want to save him. But you also would love to see him go a little deeper into the game today just because they've used, or better yet, just score like 12 runs.
Score some runs
And
for
then
the love of
just
God.
score like 12 runs, and then you can put in whoever at the end of the game for the last 3 innings.
Yes.
That would be the ideal outcome today.
We need one of those, man. We need one. Not just for our mental health and our blood pressure and our heart attack potential. It's for resetting the bullpen, getting guys some breathers, man.
All right, we'll continue. More Padres talk coming up. Got an update yesterday on one Yu Darvish. Joe back? What about Yu Darvish?
I'm a little
If you didn't
bummed. If he needed innings, I can get innings for
we will
Yu Darvish.
we'll
I can
let you
figure it
know
out.
and play some Take on Woods coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan. Don't go away.
God, we would be remiss, Ben, if we did not talk about the guy that just did the promo, Xander Bogaerts, who had just such a phenomenal AB last night. Our pal Letters to AJ wrote a little piece about it. Situational hitting sighting last night from Xander Bogaerts. And one of my favorite things we've ever learned here on Ben and Woods was this mentality that Adam Jones, five-time All-Star, a guy that ditched us for golf today, by the way. We were supposed to play golf with him. And listen, he had a better opportunity at a better golf course and a chance to make some money.
Business opportunity.
He had a business opportunity, and then they're going to go play a better track. And I said, all right, I get it. It's fine. So now Benny and I are going to be playing with our buddy John Ashworth and Matt Janella today, which is going to be great. But,
Match, me and you against those two?
Yes.
Is that we're going to play? Close out? All right.
100%. Yes, absolutely.
And no strokes. I got you straight up.
Me?
Yeah, I'll take you.
I'm like a 15.
I know, but I feel like you make some birdies. All you need to do is
some birdies.
We just need to ham and egg it a little bit.
All right.
They're both really good players.
Yeah, they're good.
I'd say John's a little better than me, though, and Matt's a little better than you. So we'll be underdogs.
All right.
I think we can do it.
Let's Padres them up, dude.
Yeah.
Rally Roach in my wallet.
Exactly.
We'll be good to go.
Exactly.
But about Xander Bogaerts, so Adam Jones told us, a year ago, he said, my mentality was always the first two swings are for me, and the last one is for the team, and I love that. I teach my little leaguers that. Those two are for you. Get your hack in, man. Swing it. That last one, when you get two strikes on you, now it's time to knuckle down and give one for the team here. Xander on 3-1 last night decided, no, this is the swing that needs to go to the team. The pass ball got Profar over to third. So now a 3-1 count. And again, Letters to AJ, if you're not following him on Substack, you should. He breaks it down. Dude, Xander Bogaerts, Ben, on a 3-1 count, you know what his career OPS? 1.557.
Oh, wow.
I mean, a stack. So he does damage on 3-1 counts. Immediately noticed, I'm not going to get the pitch to do damage with here. I'm going to get something, away. And what does he do? Not the world's prettiest swing by any stretch, but with the drawn-in infield, boom, right through the hole. Padres get on the board. It was really, really special.
Mike Schilt also pointed out after the game, I think it was from Saturday when Jackson Merrill hit the 2-run homer in the 8th inning to tie it. Xander put together a great at-bat to get on base in front of Jackson Merrill to set that up. Just a consistent run of really good at-bats from Xander Bogaerts, who's played really good baseball here in the second half of the season. And if you don't think that that's one of the huge reasons why the Padres have won 17 of their last 20 games, you're not really paying attention. It's sometimes so easy. Yeah, Jackson Merrill is doing the spectacular. Sure. Manny's been slugging pretty well, and the bullpen has come through with all the new acquisitions, the new shiny toys, the names we're getting familiar with. But it's the guy Xander Bogaerts who has, for a lot of his tenure here in San Diego, taken some arrows, from the fan base for not producing necessarily the way he did in Boston, who has been a consistent contributor here in the second half of the season.
Yeah, and he also highlights something that Victor Rodriguez says, if you put the ball in play, you have a better chance to do something, especially with men in scoring position. I think from day one, we've preached, let's score one more run than the other team. And now we're going to do that by knowing situational hitting, by having a two-strike approach, an approach in which it doesn't matter if you have two strikes, you still have a chance. And, I realized last night watching Woodford, again, attack the zone, and you just didn't barrel him up. It's tough. I mean, he's at 65 pitches through 6 or something. He's averaging like 10, 11 pitches an inning, and that's not ideal. But I think that they are stubborn in their approach. And are we really going to come on the radio this morning and be like, hey, really should have got to that guy a little earlier in his 7.41 ERA? No, you're not. They're stubborn. I've been saying it about them all year. They're stubborn. They're not going to change their approach for anybody. And look, it's going to work out some nights. What do they always say? We're going to put ourselves in opportunities, give ourselves as many opportunities to win a baseball game as we can. That's what they're doing. They have a genuine philosophy for maybe the first time, Ben, since we started covering the team.
At one point last night, their BABIP was like 118.
Yeah.
And their XBA wasn't that good either. It was like 240, but it was still 100 points higher than what they were getting. Just getting unlucky, putting the ball in play. Had only struck out twice, but weren't finding any holes. But you keep doing that, And eventually, good things do happen, and they did in the 7th and 8th innings offensively for the Padres. All right, before the Yu Darvish update, want to get a contestant on the line for Take on Woods. This is your time to call in. You want to challenge Woodsy. We had a 5-5 game yesterday, which was outstanding. Tie goes to the contestant, which means you can qualify for our trip to Las Vegas coming up here. 833-288-0973. Open the phone lines right now. 833-288-0973. Call in for your chance to play against Woods coming up here in about 3 or 4 minutes. So good reporting here yesterday. He's got good sources around town. Usually, these are the kind of sources that you usually have.
Yeah, usually.
But Dennis Lynn in The Athletic said that Yu Darvish threw live batting practice on Sunday at a San Diego area high school. And Darvish has been working out and throwing on his own since he went on the restricted list on July 6th. Appeared healthy and in good form, according to multiple observers. And he says the Darvish has still not told the team whether he plans to return or not this season as he continues to deal with the personal matter. But the throwing session does show that he's keeping his options open about a potential comeback here later this season.
I love that. I love it. I love to hear that that's what he's doing. Obviously, I would want him back as soon as possible. But I'm also, I've resigned myself to the fact that he's got something going on. We don't know what it is, and that's okay. But, man, to hear that he's still out there working with the potential of him coming back, Benny, is just it's a very positive note yesterday.
And you remember he did pitch well. He had a 3.20 ERA in his 11 starts before he went on the IL. So it would be a lift if they can get Darvish back. You can't count on it. And even, Mike Schilt continues to say, I don't even ask him about it. We're just supporting him, and he'll let us know when he's ready to come back. And that's fine. I feel like if I was manager, I would really still be kind of wondering, am I going to get him back or am I not?
It's tough.
Am I going to get him back or am I not?
It's really, really tough. But if you as listening,
I just want to know.
Yeah, I just want to know one way or the other. But you don't want to.
I'm not mad. I just need to know.
You also don't want to force him into saying, "Okay, fine, then I'm not coming back."
Right.
If you need to know,
sometimes it's better not to know.
If you need to know, it's a no.
I'll be surprised.
If you don't need to know, then I'll keep the options open and hopefully continue. The possibility of coming back. But if you absolutely need to know today, you might not like the answer. And I do get that sense maybe that's kind of what's going on here.
Well, the Tier 1s have a game on Sunday. If you're free at 1 o'clock, and you need a couple of innings on the bump, I can make it happen. Heath Bell was a.
Are you worried that he's not going to be fully back and in form, though? That you've got a guy who's still
No, I'll use him in the right spot. Yeah,
okay.
I'll use him in the
right
spot.
You feel like you could work him in for an inning or two?
Yeah, I mean, if
even
he
at
wants...
80%, you think Yu Darvish has a chance to get some outs in your league?
I think so.
Darvish at 80%?
I think
probably.
so, yeah.
I mean, you got a couple guys who probably still can go 100% for you.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think Darvish at 80%?
I think
might be better.
I think he'd be pretty good.
Maybe
what your options are.
Opener. Yeah, give him just if he wants to taste the competition again. Because it's one thing to go out and throw a bullpen at a high school, but to get live batters.
Something on the line, a winning streak on the line. You guys have won, 18, 19 in a row.
Well, yeah, Andros says, I'll find a lane for him.
Yeah,
like Skip says.
Yeah, good. Yeah, three or four good batters, right-handers.
I'll find a lane
might have
for
trouble
him.
with some of his off-speed stuff in your league. I know they're pretty good hitters, but you may find someone that he can handle. Get some confidence builder. Confidence builder.
Talk to PR. They got my number. Text me. We'll get you in a Tier 1 jersey. It's by the way, it's going to cost you. You got to bring money for ump fees, just so you know. It's like $10
$10
for ump fees, and
don't big league us.
Yeah, don't big league us. $10 for ump fees, and we'll figure it out. We'll get you
take care of the field afterwards.
That's right. You imagine Yu Darvish out there raking the line. Do they have water here? They do. Is there clay? All right, I'll do the mound. It's the greatest, dude. It is the greatest. I love Yu Darvish so much, and I hope he comes back. But most importantly, I hope he's doing okay.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you ready to get to our game? Let's play a little take on. All right, Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. We've got Adrian on the line. Hello, Adrian. How are you?
What's up, guys?
Hey, all right.
Morning.
You're a contestant today, and if you can beat or tie Woods, we'll put you into our grand prize drawing for August, a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas, and 2 tickets to Carrie Underwood Reflection at Resorts World Theater, her new residency starting August 14th. That's like tomorrow or 2 days from now. And then ending October 26th. Tickets on sale at AXS.com and RWLasVegas.com. All right, here are your categories for today's game. The Afterlife, 5 song titles and artists, including the word after. Sprechens I Deutsch, we got 5 German-related music bands and questions. And Singing the Blues, 5 song titles and bands that include the word blues. So the Afterlife, Sprechens I Deutsch, or Singing the Blues.
All right.
What would you like to choose?
Which category?
You get to pick.
Oh,
The Afterlife. Afterlife. All right, there's your category. Again, 5 song titles and artists, all including the word after somewhere. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, you can say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is the 2-second song. Paulie's going to play a little music. You need to give me the title and the artist to score that point, and then we'll go on from there. Adrian, you ready to play?
I hope so, yeah.
All right, good luck. 60 seconds on the clock. The category, the Afterlife. Your time begins when Paul plays our music. Good luck, Adrian. Let's take on Woods. Correct. Whatever could Starland Vocal Band be hinting at when the band wrote which signature hit in 1976? You want to pass on that one? Which British rock band recorded a successful English-language cover of Der Kommissar by German band Der Kommissar?
Oh, man.
That's right. J.J. Cale actually wrote which song that became a signature hit for Eric Clapton, even appearing in a 1987 Michelob commercial.
I have no idea, man.
Yeah, that's all right. All right. Which 80s R&B group founded by the brothers of Babyface Edmonds released top 10 hits Ready or Not and Can't Stop? A tougher category.
Oh, yeah. Brutal.
We just had a 5 for 5 yesterday. They can't all be as easy as yesterday. So you got Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper, which is good playing. Starland Vocal Band is Afternoon Delight. After the Fire recorded Der Kommissar. After Midnight is the Clapton classic, and then After 7 R&B. I don't think Woods is going to get all 5. I mean, he'll get a couple, I think, but we'll see what his score will be. Adrian, hang on just in case. Bring Woods back in. I see they're predicting how many they think you'll get in this category in the chat. We'll see. All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Adrian.
Time After Time, Cyndi Lauper.
Correct. Whatever could Starland Vocal Band be hinting at when the band wrote which signature hit in 1976?
Pass.
Which British rock band recorded a successful English-language cover of Der Kommissar by German band Der Kommissar?
Was that Falco?
Incorrect.
Oh,
J.J.
no.
Cale actually wrote which song that became a signature hit for Eric Clapton, even appearing in a 1987 Michelob commercial?
Cocaine.
Incorrect. Which 80s R&B group founded by the brothers of Babyface Edmonds released top 10 hits Ready or Not and Can't Stop?
Say it again?
Which R&B group of the 80s founded by the brothers of Babyface Edmonds released top 10 hits Ready or Not and Can't Stop? Heart hurts you without the category.
I have no
here.
idea what the category is. None.
All right, go back to whatever could Starland Vocal Band be hinting at when the band wrote which signature hit in 1976?
This one's going to make me nuts.
I know this one.
I don't know the category. I have no idea. I have one. Give me one. I'm done.
One?
Yeah.
Wow, Adrian, I'm glad you hang on. 1-1. We got a tie.
You are kidding me.
Gee, tough one today.
Woo!
The category was the Afterlife. So Time After Time.
Okay.
So Starland Vocal Band.
Oh, some Afternoon Delight.
After the Fire was
After
Der
the
Kommissar.
Fire, yeah.
After Midnight for
After
Clapton.
Midnight.
And After 7 is the name of the R&B
Never
group.
heard of them.
Tough one today.
That was
tough
very
one.
tough. Good
Too easy
Lord.
yesterday, too hard today.
Woo.
We'll need to Goldilocks it tomorrow and see if we can get it just right.
Didn't J.J. Cale also write cocaine?
He might have,
I think
actually.
he did.
But it didn't have the word after in it.
Didn't have
so
the word after.
That hurts you when you don't have the category. So good job, Adrian. See, that's why I said, you never know what's going to happen in Take on Woods. Next up, though, is Don't Do This. And we know that we'll be talking about Jackson Merrill's Rookie of the Year candidacy.
Yes, we will. Again, MLB Network, they had some interesting comments yesterday. The very, very spray-tan Steve Phillips wanted to weigh in on Jackson Merrill. And Kevin Burkhardt, who we adore. I actually feel bad for putting him in Don't Do This, but he had one of those goofy things that you just say, and then it's come back to bite him a little bit. It's pretty funny. We can kick it around.
Before we get there, baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits. Still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Back with Don't Do This after traffic next on 97.3 The Fan. Hey, fantasy football team owners, get ready for the draft with Reception Perception. Whether you're in a PPR league or not, wideouts make or break your fantasy team. You can listen to a podcast that specializes in wide receivers. Don't get embarrassed this season with a new tattoo that your friends pick out for you because you finished last. Listen to new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday on the Odyssey app. Get ready for draft day. It's Reception Perception. All right, I'll get us started today. And you actually pointed this one out to me, but I did think it was pretty funny. Kevin Burkhardt, who, he's a very solid Major League Baseball broadcaster, was appearing on a show, Bloomberg's The Deal, with Alex Rodriguez and Jason Kelly, and he suggested that to try to up the offensive quotient and get back to a better brand of baseball, that the strikeout has become too commonplace. And he said, he talked to the greats. They used to be embarrassed to strike out. It doesn't matter anymore. And I think we've got to find a way to make that a penalty to increase a strikeout. So
I've got an idea.
He says, I would find a way to penalize a strikeout more than just an out.
I got an idea. An out. How about that as your penalty? An out. You're out.
More than just an out.
Like what? A shin kick? A nut grab? Like, what are we doing?
2 outs? I mean, that seems like a lot.
It's ridiculous.
It's definitely hard to add. I mean, you already can't advance runners on a strikeout. I mean, there's kind of an extra penalty to striking out.
Well, dude, but also
certain respects.
Also, Kevin, I mean, think about it. How many times does a guy come up with a runner on first and he strikes out, and there's a part of you that goes, fine. You know what he didn't do? He didn't hit into a double play. Like, the Padres are a contact team. The Padres don't strike out a ton, so maybe that's why we're all taking it a little bit personally. But when you talk about, by the way, the all-time greats being embarrassed to strike out, let me just give you just a few of the career strikeout leaders in Major League Baseball. And you guys tell me if these guys are any good. Reggie Jackson, Jim Tomei.
Pretty good.
Sammy Sosa, Alex Rodriguez, Miguel Cabrera, Willie Stargell. On down the list, Mike Schmidt, Fred
Some of that
McGriff.
is because they're so good, they last so long that they compile them. But look at this year's leaders in strikeouts, and you'll see some of the best players in baseball. Teoscar Hernandez, Kyle Schwarber, Cal Raleigh, all among the top 10 in most strikeouts this season. Matt Olson, good players that strike out. Nolan Gorman, strike out a lot.
Yeah.
It's not the taboo that it used to be.
It's not, and I think. You know, listen, I don't know what, and I love Kevin Burkhardt. I really do. What else? They're already out. You're out. That's your penalty. You're out. You didn't come through for your team. You know, it's a built-in penalty that's probably good enough.
You know what Kevin Burkhardt needs to do? Just watch more Padres games.
Yeah.
Because the Padres don't strike out a ton.
Right.
They're making contact. They're playing a good brand of baseball. I'm trying to go down the list to find the first Padre on the list of most strikeouts this season. I'm at 85, and I haven't gotten there. There it is. Manny Machado has the 86th most strikeouts in baseball this season, and that leads the Padres with 92 Ks.
That's crazy. And I mean, look, when we were kids, striking out, you're like, well, that's it for me.
Right.
Just put me in a box because I can't.
I still feel that way.
I still don't necessarily like it. But I also know that, especially with the big leaguers, these guys, I mean, the pitching, by the way, Kevin, is really nasty. It's really nasty. And the guys coming in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings all throw, 100 miles an hour with nasty break.
Joseph with a suggestion that would not fly in the chat.
Oh, you pull your, pull your.
Like when you don't hit it to the red tees,
yeah,
in your golf group, you have to.
Have you ever done that?
No.
Can you imagine? All right, I'll walk back to the dugout now.
Pants around your ankles.
Pants around your ankles.
Because you struck out.
Just like
I love
extra
Kevin.
Penalty.
I love Kevin, but listen, some of the rule changes have helped with more contact. I don't know. I don't have the numbers at my disposal right now, but are strikeouts up since last year? Are they up since 2 years ago? Are they up since 3 years ago? I have no idea where it's trending. But I certainly like this Padres brand of baseball a lot more than maybe other teams. So fine by me, man. But I think an out is good enough. I think it's absolutely good enough. All right, I will. Number 2 here was watching somebody clued me into MLB Network. They were doing a little debate, as they've been known to do, on the Rookie of the Year potential in the National League, and it was John Heyman taking the side of Jackson Merrill, and it was Steve Phillips, former Mets GM, he's very tan, talking about Jackson Merrill, and just a little quip as he was pleading his case to the judge about why it should be Paul Skeens over Jackson Merrill.
Jackson Merrill's a good player. They're not buying tickets to watch him play.
Are you sure?
That's why Petco Park is empty every night.
But are you sure? Because
Jackson Merrill's a good player. They're not buying tickets to watch him play.
They absolutely are. He has done the thing that Tatis did when he got here. Oh, yeah. Now you're sure you still see some 13 jerseys. You still see some 23 jerseys. Everybody wants a number 3. My 6-year-old, he loves all the guys. That's his guy now. Dad, I want fly balls. I'm like, oh, all right. I'll throw you some fly balls. Jackson Merrill plays outfield. All right, okay, I'll get you some fly balls. He wants to be number 3. They are absolutely buying tickets for Jackson Merrill.
He's one of the most dominant young pitchers we've seen, not just this year, but in a decade or so. I mean, since Strasburg sort of came in, this guy has taken over the game, and everybody wants to watch him play. Jackson Merrill's a good player. They're not buying tickets to watch him play. They're buying tickets to see this guy go out there and pitch.
Both things can be true, by the way.
I was gonna say, he's not wrong about Paul Skeens.
Yeah, Paul Skeens. If I have a chance to go watch Paul Skeens pitch, will I buy a ticket? Yes. But if I have a chance to go watch Jackson Merrill do what he's been doing every single night, will I buy a ticket? Yes, 100%. He's one of the huge reasons to go to Petco Park right now. So
it's going to be an interesting race because some people, I was listening to Steve Phillips this morning, Eduardo Perez was going, I think it's Jackson Merrill. I don't think it's that particularly close right now. And, Steve Phillips continued to say, well, I mean, Paul Skeens is putting up Cy Young type numbers, and you can't. How can you
give him the Cy Young?
How can you be the Cy Young winner and not the Rookie of the Year if you had that good of a season? Still don't know what we're going to see. I think it's going to be determined in the last month and a half. If Skeens ends up getting shut down, which with the way the Pirates have been playing, makes perfect sense for them to do. I don't know. There'll be much of a debate by the end of the year.
Good.
It'll be unanimous toward Jackson Merrill.
Good point here by Brandon. Well, just look at the Padres attendance against the Pirates attendance. I mean, Paul Skeens' games, they sell a lot of tickets. Jackson Merrill's games, they sell out every ticket. So, I don't know. He's an everyday player, plays a premium position. Paul Skeens throws every 5 days. So, yeah, man, he's the truth. There's no question about it. I did not care for that comment. It was a little bit flippant. By Steve Phillips. He knows better.
Finally, a little do this.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
This was ESPN's NBA Today show originating out of their Los Angeles studios. Malika Andrews was the host. And what a composed, poised moment as yesterday's, 4.7 earthquake hit up in Los Angeles. And you can hear it shaking in the studio. She is doing an interview on a screen with Rebecca Lobo. So Rebecca's not there. Malika's just there, on a set with lights above her, camera, and going, and she reacts to it live. And just listen to how professional she handles this.
Oh, why is there no audio? There we go.
Restart and go.
And it was so much fun to see, particularly the crowd sort of getting behind as we have a bit of an earthquake here in Los Angeles. So we're just going to make sure that our studio lights, everything stays safe, everything's shaking. You good, Mylan? Everybody good? All right. Thank you so much for bearing with us through that. Our studio was shaking just a little bit. Tarsi, if you're still good in the studio and everyone's still good. All right.
Perfect. And then on with the interview.
Handled it like a total pro. I'm sure I would have handled it the same. Just as evidenced by the roach that was in here. Like almost quit my job over a cockroach. So, yeah, I'm sure we've all would have been totally fine. But she handled that like a pro.
People in, like the Midwest where they never had an earthquake are like losing their minds.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how can you be that calm? The earth is literally shaking and you are just as cool as a cucumber. You're checking the lights. You're checking your colleagues.
I get a text every time there's any semblance of an earthquake here from like 3 family members. You good? I'm like, I didn't feel it. I never do. So, knock on wood. Let's keep that rolling. Thank you. That's Don't Do This.
And that's do this for Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, the Wildcard race, the playoff chase continues to heat up. We'll have an update on how the rest of Major League Baseball did. Context with your San Diego Padres. Coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. If your supply chain demands a flexible workforce, hire with Express Employment Professionals. With contract and full-time workers from Express Employment, you get the staff you need and manage contingent labor costs. Learn more at expresspros.com. That's expresspros.com. No one really giving an inch in the National League right now. We'll give you the update on the standings and how things went last night coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a collision on northbound 805 before Plaza Boulevard. Motorcycle involved in this one. It's in the fast lane. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a stalled vehicle on the Euclid Avenue off-ramp, eastbound King Freeway. It's over the right shoulder. And it's not your imagination if you notice more cars on the roads and kids walking around because it is back to school for a lot of districts today. Yeah, San Diego starts back today. Del Mar Union School, Encinitas, Cardiff, Escondido Union High School, and Grossmont Union High School districts. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Be extra alert for pedestrian traffic and give yourself a little extra time. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Did anybody see Mookie Betts' first at-bat?
I did. Luckily,
Off
I didn't.
the injured list last night.
Luckily, I was smart enough to know that he's a pretty good player, and I wasn't about to run my mouth early. I did see a lot of people jump the gun there. It was not the prettiest AB
Fell
for
over
Mookie.
striking out.
Dude, and then?
And then in his second at-bat, he hit a home run.
Yeah, tank. Absolute missile out of there.
3 RBI.
That's called
Mookie,
growth, my friends.
Yeah,
growth.
Two months on the IL with a broken hand, comes back and leads the Dodgers to a 5-2 win on the road over the Milwaukee Brewers. Shohei Ohtani hit his 36th of the season, a 2-run shot. The Dodgers remaining 3.5 games ahead of the Padres in the National League West. Also saw that Mookie returns to the Dodgers, but did not return to the team hotel.
The Fister.
In Milwaukee. He got an Airbnb again.
He always does.
Because he's afraid of the hotel in Milwaukee,
Yeah.
the Fister, because of the ghosts.
Yeah, he does not
He
like.
will not stay there.
Not a fan of the Fister.
Mm-mm.
It's hard to imagine. I hear it's a very nice place.
But, Jesse stays there.
He got me a pen from the Fister. It's
Gotcha. That's right.
I have a Fister pen in my
But
in my
Mookie
desk.
will not stay there because of the ghost stories from the hotel.
I think it's
Fister? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. You would stay there at the Fister.
Sure.
Yeah, that was the answer. Ben, would you stay there?
Fister? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Unlike Mookie, who will not stay.
Like we've talked about
with his teammates in Milwaukee. I mean, is that not being a bad teammate? You won't even stay with the rest of your team?
No, it's not. You want him playing at his best. It's not because I don't like being around you guys. If he's like, I'm legitimately scared of ghosts that are at the Fister, then I'm not doing it. You want me at my best, I'm going to need to get an Airbnb.
Was about to thank the Colorado Rockies after giving the Padres so much trouble. They were doing the same to the Arizona Diamondbacks last night in Phoenix, had a 4-1 lead in the 6th inning, and then the Diamondbacks scored 2 in the 6th, and then 2 in the 7th, both on wild pitches, to take a 5-4 lead, and they would go on to the 5-4 win as they remain as hot as the San Diego Padres in the second half of the season. Both teams still 3.5 games behind the Dodgers, tied for second place, 14 games above 500, and tied for the first wild card spot. Plus 4 games now on the Atlanta Braves, who also won last night, which was probably the game of the night in Major League Baseball. We talked about it a little bit.
No question.
Yesterday, the matchup, Chris Sale against Blake Snell. Would it live up to its billing as a great pitcher's duel? And then some. And then some. Blake Snell, 11 strikeouts, took another no-hitter into the 7th inning. His pitch count was climbing, though. Eventually gave up a hit to... Who was it that he gave up a hit to?
Don't know, but he was at 114 pitches or something.
Finished with 2 hits allowed. But the Giants could not score against Chris Sale, who struck out 12.
Good Lord.
And the game went all the way to the 10th inning, scoreless, where the Braves got a single and then a sac fly by Travis d'Arnaud to score the only run of the game.
Wow.
In a 1-0 win in a pretty critical matchup between two teams that right now are fighting for that third playoff spot. The Giants fall 2.5 games behind the Braves in that race, and the Braves add a half game over the Mets, who were idle. So they're 1 game up on New York for that third and final playoff spot in the National League.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's kind of one you dream of, playing in a game like that, man. Everybody, pitching's on their game, defense on their game. But Blake Snell is he's just unreal. The second half, Blake Snell is just something I've never really seen. And, you know, I watched some of that last night, and I, of course, saw some highlights, and I thought to myself, had we been able to swing it, you know, at the deadline, if they were really going to move him or actively shopping him, that would have been so incredible because as we've seen him in his career, something like the clock strikes the All-Star break and he just turns it on to the next level. He missed spring training this year, obviously set him back, but
he didn't miss it last year, and he still got off to a slow start.
Yeah,
I mean,
and still won a Cy Young, though. I mean, it's crazy.
It's easy to blame the late free agency and missing spring training, but maybe he was going to struggle anyway.
Yeah,
I have no idea with Blake Snell.
He's just a second-half monster.
But he's doing it again, and keeping the Giants. Honestly, I wasn't sure who I was cheering for in that game.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
You know, the Braves are closer to the Padres, but the Giants worry me maybe a little bit more because
they got Logan Webb, they got
in terms
Blake
of the
Snell.
trending,
Yes.
the Braves with their injuries seem to be trending down, and the Giants are kind of trending up. So you want to keep them from getting momentum. I don't know. Either way, there's going to be 2 more wins and 2 more losses in that series, and if the Padres keep winning, they'll add to their lead over one or both of those teams over the next couple of days. So that's
the Rockies one.
That's an important series. That one was an easy one. Yeah, you wanted the Rockies to win that one, and they could not get it done. But you don't want to be in a spot where you're counting on the Rockies to beat rivals, and the Padres aren't. They're taking care of business. They're winning games, but so are the Arizona Diamondbacks. Which, by the way, I heard Jesse on with Gwen and Chris yesterday. He'll be on with us at 8:35. But he was mentioning the fact that he couldn't remember what the season series was between the Padres and the Diamondbacks. It's 5-5 with 3 games left, the last 3 games of the year in Phoenix to end the season. Now, if you look at the standings, the Diamondbacks have the tiebreaker simply because of divisional record, but that will be irrelevant because head-to-head is the first tiebreaker, and unless they don't play one of those games, someone's going to be up either 7-6 or 8-5 at the end of the season. So that last series will determine the tiebreaker and possibly the wild card and possibly the division at the end of the year. Remember, if the Padres win that series, they'll have the tiebreaker over both the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. If it comes into like a 3-way tie, that would give the Padres the edge over both of those teams to win the National League West. That's how critical these games are going forward.
I do have to apologize to you guys. I got you all excited for that potential trip out to Arizona. I blew it.
I texted you guys yesterday afternoon.
I really
because I got asked by like 3 or 4 different people over the weekend from like different circles that were listening, and they all asked me, "Hey, are you guys going to be out in Arizona next month?" I go, "What the hell?" And I looked, I'm like, "Oh, wait, yeah, we end the season in Arizona.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday
could
games.
be very pivotal weekend." I go, "Did you guys talk about this?" Because a bunch of people asked me. You're like, "Yeah, we mentioned it. We talked about it, I think, on Friday."
We had Adam in. We said, "Hey, maybe we go."
And I was like, that's a great idea.
Great idea. Easy trip.
Those could be really monumental games. So let me look at some Airbnb options. Hey, what do you guys think of this one?
We're
Looks
in.
Great.
I'm in, I say.
Cool. Finger on the reserve button, like about to enter my information and reserve the house when Woods texted us again.
I walked into the kitchen and I go, "Babe, just so you know," I said, if that series in Arizona at the end of the year turns out to be as big as it potentially could be, me and the fellas going to do the show on Friday. We're going to jump in the car, and then we're going to drive out to Arizona, play golf on Saturday, go to the game Friday, play golf on Saturday, go to the game Saturday, drive home Sunday. And she goes, "What's the date?" I said, "It's the last weekend of September." She goes, "Moron, I'm out of town. I'm going to Hawaii with my friends." I go, she goes, "You have the kids."
Who is she, me?
Both.
Yeah,
I know.
Doing her best Ben Higgins impersonation.
Both kids I have for like 5 days, which is fine. I can do it standing on my head. But they got to get to school, so we had to do all this. We have sitters coming to take them to school. I'll pick them up. So unless, and Paulie, you missed this yesterday, unless that Friday I get them out of school early and they come with us to Arizona. Now, Ben made very clear yesterday, he hates my 3-year-old son, Taylor. He said it. I hate him.
I feel like Hannah also made it fairly clear on Twitter yesterday that she wasn't a big fan of her own kids.
He's tough. He's a tough one.
I think that'd be great.
Me, the 3 of us.
We'll put Ben in the back seat with
Bo
the 2
and Taylor,
boys. He'll be
between
Ben
the 2
will
seats.
ride middle in the back, and
Yeah.
he'll have Bo and Taylor on each side.
They do great on a 6-hour drive, I'm sure.
We'll get some Happy Meals for you guys back
Yeah.
there.
Now, that's my only other option. I can bring them if you guys still want to do it.
Why does he hate Taylor?
I don't know.
I don't hate Taylor. He's the wild man, you know? I don't relate to him very well yet. He's 3. Give him some time.
So that's an opportunity. If it's still, I probably won't be able to play golf, but we could go to the games, take the boys to the games with us. Big family trip.
Is that what you had in mind when you were plotting it?
The thought of it makes me sick to my stomach of dragging them to games.
Why don't we just rent an RV and I'll stay in the RV?
That sounds even better.
Film the whole thing and make a reality TV series about it.
So you guys should, if you still want to go, you guys should both.
We'll miss you.
You should still go, and I'll be home. But yeah.
I mean, honestly, they'll probably be starting a playoff series like 2 days after that as well. And I mean, that's a lot.
That's
a lot. The last weekend of the season.
But here's what's going to happen. Now that this has all gone down the way it has, that weekend's going to be for the division or for the one, the top wild card spot or something.
Yeah, and I'll be watching it on TV. You guys should go, man. You absolutely should go.
I mean, I would definitely encourage any listeners, it's worth at least putting some plans in place.
Yeah.
If you can get a refundable hotel or Airbnb reservation, then maybe it won't matter.
It would be some really elite content, though. The 5 of us going to Arizona for those games.
I'm all in on this.
I'll think about it just to make him super uncomfortable for the whole time.
Or he can drive himself.
He can drive solo.
And he'll meet us there in 12 hours.
He's just at the casino at night, every night at Explicit.
I thought maybe we were flying over there this time since it's downtown and it's near the airport. It doesn't make a lot of sense to fly when you then have to go 50 minutes back out to Peoria.
Yeah.
But when you're going down to Chase Field, that's really close to the airport.
There's a Hooters down there.
Might be pretty easy just to fly in for an hour trip and not do the 6 hours in the car thing.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm planning on taking them somewhere when Hannah's gone. So I'm planning on taking them somewhere. Might as well be Arizona. They both love the Padres. So, you never know. But I think
we'll need either an Airbnb with a pool or just stay at a hotel or something.
Something. Yeah, you're not going to want to share a house with those kids.
Not really.
He hates them so much.
They're very cute kids.
They're cute kids. Really very, very sweet. Yesterday, though, we talked, Scott, you missed this as well, Paulie. Scott Lewis tweeted, August 12th, it's just too early to start school. And I literally called him out by name on the air. He was listening. He called in, and I wanted to get to the bottom of why he thinks it's too early. Well, his kids are 13 and 11, so he's actually having fun hanging out with his kids. I got home from work yesterday. They had taken 2 boxes of Topps baseball cards and basically flung them all over the house. They could not have been any worse than they were. They were beating the crap out of each other the whole day. There were black eyes and bloody lips the whole day. It was like, all right, it's time. And my 6-year-old is off to his first day of school, first grade, which is nuts. But man, it was like, all right, yeah, this is the last day of summer for them. Couldn't have come at a better time.
We also invented Camp 97.3 while you were gone as well, because Woods is paying hundreds of dollars for these camps. We thought, well, why don't we put on a camp here, and you can send your kids and just they hang around the studio for a week, and we charge a few $100, and we just have little ones running around.
Sounds like Ben's actual nightmare.
A literal nightmare.
Different activities. The sales staff can give them spots to record, make it their own.
Yeah, make it your own. Here's some
Taylor,
bullet points.
Put your own spin on it.
Yeah, put your own spin on it. You do it with some vigor, is the one I got recently. Vigor. Hey, do this spot.
Vim and vigor.
With some vim and vigor. I don't know what vim is. I've never heard of that.
You've heard of vigor.
I've heard of vigor, but I've never heard of vim. Is that a thing?
It goes with vigor sometimes.
I've never heard it.
I'm not sure if it's different or similar. I don't even know the definition of vim,
It's
actually.
incredible.
I've heard of vim and vigor.
Just incredible.
I just assume it's a synonym for vigor, but I don't really know.
There was an idea I had a while back, last year. It was Playoff House. And this team right now is, you're feeling pretty good about their playoff odds. Paulie, you had the numbers earlier this morning.
Yeah.
91% chance of making the playoffs. Now, listen, you don't want to count your chickens before they hatch, but
91%, yeah.
So Playoff House is an elite idea. It's where we all get a house and we live there until the Padres are out of the playoffs.
Do the show there.
Live there, the whole staff, everybody. I mean, Scraby,
Tony,
and he's going to be like, I'm out. But that's, I mean,
Tony's going to be, I got to call the games, dude.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
Coney.
at the
Yeah, but
ballpark.
like we all do our shows from Playoff House, and we hang out and we watch the games together. And I think it's an elite idea. So, Adam, sales staff, if you're listening, Playoff House needs to be a thing. We'll do it for just our show. That's fine. Playoff House,
full sponsor.
full sponsor. We just move in and we stay there until it's over.
Have it filmed like the real world.
Yeah, 100%.
Cameras in around the house.
I love the idea of Playoff House, and I think we have tier ones come by. We can rage and stuff. It'll be fun. I'm sure there's insurance that needs to go into that, but I think it's a good idea.
Quickly, a couple other scores from last night. Reds beat the Cardinals 6-1, so St. Louis dropping a game in the wild card standings. The White Sox surprised everyone by clobbering the Yankees 12-2. That can't feel good for the Yankees. Old friend Enyel De Los Santos gave up 7 in relief for the Yankees in that one.
Brutal.
And then did you see Billy Wagner's son made his major league debut last night for the Toronto Blue Jays? Got hits in his first 3 at-bats.
Somebody tweeted, can they only draft sons of big leaguers in Toronto? Is that like a rule that they have to do?
This is Willie Wagner.
Will Wagner.
Or just Will Wagner. Billy's
He's got
son.
3 knocks.
Got 3 knocks in his first 3 at-bats. He was batting 1,000 after 3 career ABs.
Imagine Billy Wagner's your dad and you're not a pitcher. Like, that's crazy. Crazy cool. Love that.
All right, we'll come back, get everything started again. Second half of Ben and Woods, including Jesse Agler right around the corner with the Incorporator. All ahead on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we're halfway home already on a Tuesday. Show has flown by this morning. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thanks so much for being here, however you choose to consume this radio program. A lot of you on YouTube now. That's kind of cool. Get to see us, which I don't know what that does for you, but you can get, it's cool to get like reactions, facial expressions, things like that. If you're listening on the radio, certainly appreciate you. The Odyssey app, anywhere you listen, man, just from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much.
You guys sounded good. I was watching in the chat a little bit on Friday morning before my flight.
Was that with Kluger?
First two segments, I think, and then I had to board and had you guys up on YouTube while I was waiting to board the plane, and sounds good.
Yeah,
good.
we felt pretty good. I'm refreshed. I had the Hawaiian vacation. I still feel very refreshed from it. The first time you guys have ever seen me in shorts, ever, right? Ever?
You look good.
Maybe,
yeah, little color on your legs. Very nice. Yeah.
Very skinny legs. My wife said she would kill for my legs.
So, yeah, Paulie just had his vacation. You had your vacation.
Yeah, when's yours?
This week. I'm going on staycation.
Oh, staycation. But you're still working.
Week.
That's not a vacation.
I'm taking the rest of the week off television.
Oh, television. Yeah,
so I'm only working with you guys. It just seems silly not to work. We're actually going to stay. For the first time, we're going for 2 nights to the new Lafayette, the remodeled Lafayette Hotel in North Park, and we're going to stay there a couple of nights and check it out. But it's like even closer to here than my house. So
it's actually
it's like a shorter drive. It'd be weird to not come and work with you guys when I'm even closer than I normally am.
That's true.
So I felt a little weird on Thursday not being there, but it was a shortened show for you guys.
It was a very short show.
I didn't feel that bad.
Piece of cake. You had Foo Fighters the night before.
I let loose a little bit on Wednesday night.
So Kluger, Bald Reindl, our manager, he actually went to the show too, and I tried to get it out of him. Hey, like, what did you think of the show? And he's like,
what'd he say?
It was fine. It was good. They were great.
They rocked.
Yeah, it just didn't give me like a lot.
They were good.
Michael in our chat is our GM, and he said, "That's dedication, Ben. Way to set the example." Oh my God, this bit.
It's more peer pressure from Woods.
I didn't say a word. Not
bad
one
when
word.
I leave.
Not one single word. I'm happy that you're coming to work. I mean, this is the easy job.
I do have a couple of days off scheduled next month for a little golf vacation.
Yeah.
And I won't be here.
Yeah, and I will be here.
But I'm going to be here.
So Paulie, you went to Foo. Was amazing.
So he was just like, it was okay.
It's fine. Yeah, it's good. It
was like one of the best concerts I've ever seen.
Sure.
I mean, I'm biased. Huge fan of the Foo Fighters.
Right.
Had never seen them before.
First time, popped your cherry.
Bro, it was unbelievable.
It looked awesome.
It was so sick.
Yeah.
I went with my buddy who had never seen them either, and he's a fan, but not like a long-time hardcore fan. He goes, like, they come out, lights go dark, they come out, they just shredded for like 5 minutes before you even heard them utter a word. It was just Dave Grohl screaming into the microphone. And for those like 5 minutes, we were just sitting on the edge of it, like jaws on the floor. My buddy just looks, he goes, "This is unreal."
Yeah, this is awesome.
They had, you know everybody's name.
Yeah.
The drummer's from 9 Inch Nails.
Josh Freese.
He's incredible.
He's unreal, man.
Bro, like when he was doing a drum solo, I could like feel it in my stomach and my body was just like shaking. It was so sick.
How does that work?
The sound
does
was
9
incredible.
Inch Nails not tour anymore? Did they trade him, or like
No,
is he on loan like a soccer player?
Yeah, it's like it's a gig for him, you know. And actually, I think he's the full-time guy now because 9 Inch Nails is they don't put out music anymore. Trent Reznor does movie soundtracks, and he's amazing. And I think eventually we'll get more 9 Inch Nails at some point. I sure hope so. I did see a picture of Trent Reznor at Disneyland yesterday, which for some reason spun me out. He was in like shorts and a black like collared shirt like I have on. I was like, he should be in a cave somewhere. He should not be at Disneyland. It was really weird to see.
Place on earth.
Yeah, there's Trent Reznor, who's like the saddest guy on earth, and he's like, "Here I am at Magic Kingdom." Like, it was very strange to me, but I heard they just rocked the house.
So sick, man. It was such a great show. Zach's in the chat here. He says, "I don't think I've been called a MFer so many times."
Is that him?
So he was at the show.
Oh, he was there.
Dave.
Dave.
He's like, "Got any old school MFers in the house tonight?" And then what made me feel bad, like feel just old, was he's like, "All right, we're going to play another one for the old school MFers." And he played, one of their earlier hits.
Yeah.
And he goes, "All right, I got one more old school song for you old school mother effers." And it was monkey wrench.
Right.
I'm like,
well, I mean, bro, that was out when I was in college.
Yeah,
like,
I was
it's
like,
old.
I guess it was like 25 years ago.
It's old,
but
man.
It was so much fun. I don't stay for the end of concerts very often. I'll check the set list. I'll see if I really need to stay for the, kind of cheesy played out encores that everybody has to do these days. Stayed till the very end. That's good. Saw a million tier ones were there that night. It was so much fun.
I love Woods' idea that bands should start with their most popular songs and just go in order, and people can just leave as they find, like, the really diehards are the ones that are going to stay for the really deep tracks that come at the very end. And the people who just want to hear the hits, they can stay for the first 9 songs. And all right, I've heard all the ones that I want to hear. I can go now. And it'll really help with, like, traffic congestion as you're leaving the venue.
This is mind-blowing here. Tyler just said in the chat, 9 Inch Nails is going to be doing the score for the new Tron movie coming out later. And I said, Trent or 9 Inch Nails? They said 9 Inch Nails. And they said they announced it at the big Disney convention, so that's probably why they were there. That makes me feel a little bit better. I don't want my...
It was a work trip.
I don't want my dark hero, Trent Reznor, like, whee! Right? I don't need that from him. I need him to stay edgy and in all black. And so that makes a lot of sense.
9 Inch Nails cover of It's a Small World After All.
Yeah. So weird, man. It was... Seeing him there was like, I'm like, I know he's a human being. He has kids. He has a lot of kids. Like, I know that he's a dad, but I don't want to see him there. It just didn't make sense to me. So that's going to be sick, dude. So sick. Awesome. Thanks for the update, fellas. Paulie, glad you're back, and glad you got some, relaxation time.
Yeah, a little time away.
And you missed a bunch of Padres wins. Other than Friday, it's been continuing just close one-run wins or extra inning wins for the San Diego Padres over this last week, including last night. 2-1 over the Pittsburgh Pirates, a game that was sealed by a diving catch from Jackson Merrill with 2 outs in the 9th inning and the tying run on first base. A ball that, if it gets past him, ties the game for sure and puts the go-ahead run probably at third base. But he went for it, and there's a little bit of discrepancy. Now, where I saw the catch bot said it was a 64% chance, but in our chat, the Baseball Savant page, he looked it up. He thought it was just a 10% catch probability.
Wow.
I would lean more toward 10%.
I would too. I didn't think it was
I
an
didn't
easy
think it
play.
was.
That sounds much more
I
accurate.
think it was less than a 50-50 play that he made. But,
if those are the two choices, 10% or 64%,
I'd probably lean toward 10 as well. But what goes into those calculations is very complex, and I still don't totally understand it. It's like how far away you are from the ball, how fast you run, how hard the ball is hit. It all factors into those catch probability numbers. Your eyes can tell you one thing, and then the numbers don't make a lot of sense based on what you've seen. But, yeah, I tend to lean toward more of a 10% catch than a 64% catch made by Jackson Merrill. Great catch either way.
We just got a tweet from Shane. He says, "Can you guys talk about the splits in hitting? Why do they struggle at Petco Park? Are they struggling at Petco Park right now? I know the record, they're 2 games over 500 at Petco Park and like 8 games or something, 9 games over 500 on the road. I know it was an issue earlier.
It's been the MO for a couple of years.
It's been the MO for a while.
They can't hit home runs there, but everybody else seems to be able to hit home runs. The marine layer only affects the Padres.
It's very strange there early in the season.
I think whenever you talk about splits, there's always a factor of, even in a baseball season, which is a lot of games, but home games are only half of them. They can get skewed just by, if you just happen to be hot during one homestand, your home numbers look really good. Or, you had a road team who came in and they were hitting well all of a sudden. Well, it looks like the road teams are hitting well at Petco Park. This season, as Paul said, early in the year, road teams were hitting a bunch of home runs. Padres weren't. Historically, Petco Park has not been a great hitter's park. And, they've always tried to figure out exactly what it is. Usually, you blame the weather, the marine layer, the ball doesn't carry, and that my eyes tend to tell me that that's true. Would Kyle Higashioka's ball, instead of a sac fly, been a 3-run homer at a different park? Maybe.
I got him.
Maybe yesterday.
So hitting 248 at home with a 315 OBP, slugging 421, OPS is 736. Away, 281, so like almost 40 points higher 335 OBP, which is a little bit. 413, they're actually slugging less on the road than they are at home. And 748 OPS at home. Or 748 OPS on the road as opposed to 736 at home. So it's not a huge number. They've got 81 bombs at home. They got 55 on the road. So yeah, it's not anything that I think is jumping out at me, and saying this is insane. 31-29 at home, 36-24, which is good on the road. Road warriors right now for the San Diego Padres.
But is that just correlation? Just
right.
They've played better on the road, not because they're on the road. Just
right.
Happens to be the games they've played better, so their numbers look better offensively on the road. I don't know. I don't know. Some guys say they just like hitting certain places. They like the background. They feel comfortable in those places. Last year, they made a big deal about the ivy that they put on, the fake ivy that wasn't a great batter's eye, but they took that off this year. And,
well, they had some numbers too last night on the broadcast talking about the late. I mean, they're kind of a late arriving team.
That's been a problem. Not that we're nitpicking for problems, but not scoring until the seventh inning
is
against
weird.
Woodford yesterday. Jake Woodford is not. I mean, it's not great. This is not the first time that they've taken a guy who's had a 6, 7, or 8 ERA. Made him look like a Cy Young candidate as a starter coming out of the blocks. They're not a team that gets off to a great start. Now, they score like as many or more runs in like the 7th and 8th innings than any team in baseball. But if you're relying on that too often, you're always then going to have to use your top relievers because you're not well ahead.
Yeah.
More offense early would be a very beneficial thing for, every team, but in particular the Padres right now.
Well, and especially given the state of their pitching staff, right? And how nice would it be for, Dylan Cease to go out and throw a clean first and then, come back and his team scores 4 runs for him instead of the other way around. So I think, those numbers aren't crazy in one direction right now. And again, it's baseball. I do feel like things do tend to even out a little bit, but pitchers feel really comfortable in Petco Park, and Woodford was no exception. But I mentioned it earlier. I think it bears repeating. This is a team that has an offensive philosophy that they've stuck to. Ben, would you agree? Since we've started covering the team together, they have a philosophy, like a clear one. We are going to put the ball in play.
Well, this year with Victor Rodriguez.
That's what I'm saying. This year
they have a philosophy.
And they've stuck to it.
But the philosophy was designed with Petco Park in mind.
Sure.
It's a line drive park. They should hit better at Petco Park than anybody else because of their philosophy.
They should, but if
they're hitting on the road better, though,
but
instead of at Petco Park.
If they don't fall, if they're hitting the ball and putting the ball in play, but it doesn't find a hole or it doesn't fall, I mean, that's going to work against you. So I'm very hesitant to get on here and say we need, sweeping changes in the offense right now. Yeah, I'd love to see them score more, and I'd love to see them score more early.
It will be interesting to see when and if Fernando Tatis Jr. returns.
Yes.
What Mike Schilt does with his lineup at that point.
It's so interesting.
Is it simple? Is it what would you kind of do at this moment?
So I'm seeing a lot right now. I got a lot of tweets last night. Hey, ask Schilt why he continues to hit Crony 3. Crony's in scuffling a little bit right now. Has hit some balls hard recently that have not fallen in. Didn't have the world's greatest ABs last night. He's an everyday player. I think you're going to get ground down a little bit.
Feels like they're getting him on the slider down low a lot, like he's swinging over the top, just below the zone. But, that happens to a lot of guys.
Still, good. I mean, there's a lot of red on his Baseball Savant page, and he's still getting, he's still hitting the ball, and his expected batting average is a lot higher than it is. So I'm.
And one of your strengths has been the length of your lineup, and that includes Jackson Merrill deeper in the order as well.
I thought about it last night when I watched, them go down in order, and I'm like, man, it's the second inning, and I'm waiting to see our best hitter right now, really. So,
but you can't just say, when Tatis comes back, we'll just drop Jake and we'll hit Tatis third, because then you're very heavy right-handed. You're Tatis, Machado, Bogarts. That's righty.
You can go.
You don't want to set that up.
Yeah, that's the thing is they got Crony there because, he's a veteran. He knows how to hit. He's in a slump right now.
Yeah.
But to have Jackson Merrill coming up in the 6th spot is
is it Arise, Tatis, and then Profar is the switch hitter 3?
Maybe.
Then Manny, Bogarts. Then you got Jake and Jackson kind of stuck together near the bottom of the lineup, which is 2 lefties. So how do you solve that? So then you got 2 righties, 2 lefties. Do you drop Xander to 6th. He's been playing so well. And have Jake hit 5th or Jackson hit 5th and Jake hit 7th. There's definitely some different ways that Mike Shilt's going to be able to go about this when Fernando Tatis Jr. if he returns. And just, obviously don't know, but, hopefully he'll be back sometime in September.
Yeah, I really don't know what you do. I'm sure Mike Shilt's thought about it. I'm sure A.J. Preller's thought about it. I'm sure they have a plan in place. I don't know what it is. I'm really fascinated to see where you slot him back in. Do you ease him in? Do you put him in the 6 hole? Seems weird. Seems super weird.
Seems weird.
But you have your best hitter right now hitting 6th. So,
but then you still got 4, 5, 6, right.
Right.
So then you're thinking, 7? Are we putting 7 after Merrill?
Yeah.
I can't see a world where Tatis is hitting 7.
Nor can I.
It's not like he was benched because he was struggling.
Right.
He was actually doing fine. He was having a pretty good season when he got hurt. He's a top 3 guy in your order.
Yeah. I'm also of the opinion, guys, and this is an unpopular one, but when things are going well, I tend to not mess with it. I just don't. And, you have faith in your players that they're going to come through. And Crony does give you a good AB, certainly. But, yeah, he's in a bit of a scuffle right now, which happens. It happens to the best of them. Every single guy on that team has scuffled this year. So maybe except for Jackson Merrill, his have been few and far between.
All right, we're going to check traffic when we come back. Got an update on the story yesterday. We brought you in Don't Do This with Jaron Duran and the Boston Red Sox, and a couple other baseball headlines for you ahead of Jesse Agler's appearance at the bottom of the hour with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Someone in the chat, as we were kind of going through potential lineups, if and when Fernando Tatis Jr. returned, said, well, drop Luis Arraez to the 9th spot as like a second leadoff hitter. So
I hate lineup
do you
construction
realize,
talk makes me insane.
So just Luis Arraez actually still leads the National League in batting.
Yes.
Now, it's a surprisingly low number. In fact, I think it was David Schoenfield wrote about it. The lowest ever National League batting champion in history was Tony Gwynn's .313 average in 1988 that won the National League batting title that year. Right now, Luis Arraez is at .303 and leads the batting race. So he'd have to have a good, solid last 40-plus games to get ahead of Tony Gwynn's mark. Marcelo Ozuna is second, and I think it's Ohtani, and then maybe Profar. And those guys are all below 300 at this point. So you really have seen. In the American League, it's a little higher. Like Bobby Witt's 347. I think the top 6 hitters in baseball are all
347.
Yeah, he's been on fire in the second half of the season.
347.
Yeah, for the season. The top 6 hitters in baseball are all average-wise in the American League.
Stephen Kwan.
Yeah, is one of
Bobby
them.
Witt Jr.
Vlad Guerrero's one of them.
He's had a monster second half.
So, but in the National League, it's barely 300 right now that leads the race. But it is still Luis Arraez. No one is hitting better for average in the National League than he is, even though he has not had anywhere near a Luis Arraez standards-type season. He's very much in the picture and maybe even the favorite to win a 3rd straight batting title.
You ever see the movie Cobb with Tommy Lee Jones as Ty Cobb? You ever see that?
No.
You haven't?
I think I did. Yeah.
Maybe I did.
It's
I mean,
all-
they paint the pretty ugly picture of him. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was watching it last night for whatever reason after the game and to fall asleep.
Must have been really old for it to be like a young Tommy Lee.
Yeah, well, youngish. He looks kind of haggard. I mean,
But people all looked old back then.
They did.
So
Ty
it works
Cobb.
out.
Ty Cobb, when he was 25, looked like he was 76 years old. He really did. I mean, there's pictures of you like, dude, how old are you? And I'm 26. So in his final season, he at age 41, by the way, he hit 323 and was pissed and was like, anybody that hits like this doesn't deserve to be playing baseball anymore. And that was 323 in his age 41 season, and he quit because that's such a low number and so below his standards. I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, obviously the game's changed since 19 whatever.
Well, the lowest average ever to win a batting title in either league is Carl Yastrzemski, who hit 301 to lead the American League back in 1968, the era of the pitcher. So will the National League batting champion finish above that, or will we have our first ever 299 or 298 batting champion this season?
Hey, man, at the end of the day, as long as you win it, I don't really care what the number is. But, yeah, look, obviously lineup construction is a very, very good way to fill time on your 4-hour radio show. It really is. And I don't know the answer to what optimizes this San Diego Padres lineup in particular. I don't. But I do know that the better player, the more good players you have, it's a good thing inherently. But I don't know, man. I don't know where you hit Tatis if he comes back. I don't know what you do with Crony. I'm of the opinion, what have they won? 17 of 19?
17 of 20.
17 of 20?
Tied with 2 other Padres teams for the best 20-game stretch in franchise history.
I tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not getting under the hood very much. I'm not. Call me crazy. I already saw this morning. Well, just because it's working doesn't mean it can't be better. Sure, okay. But this game doesn't, and I think Mike Schilt, I don't think they work that way. I really don't. And I think he has a lot of faith in his guys, and I think for good reason. They've given him a lot of reason to trust them. So I just don't see them messing with it very much. You're going to see guys moved around to get guys days off, but I just don't think you're going to see a lot of up and down the lineup and plugging guys in here and there. And I'm not saying you're right or and I'm wrong or he's right or wrong, but that's just kind of how it goes with him.
Just a quick update on that Don't Do This story from yesterday. The Boston Red Sox and MLB did suspend outfielder Jarren Duran 2 games for throwing out that anti-gay slur at a fan during the team's loss on Sunday to the Houston Astros.
That
was pretty severe.
Pretty,
Good Lord.
I mean, I don't even, two seems a little light. He'll end up losing $8,000 plus in salary based on his, fairly minimum $760,000 salary. They're going to donate that. to the PFLAG, Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays organization. And you said that the mayor of Boston wanted to, want
to talk
give
to
him a talking to or something as well. So anyway, that's an update on yesterday's Don't Do This story. Jesse Agler, we have come up with a song lyric for today's Incorporator. And we will share it with Jesse and the rest of you when we come back with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Baseball is a lot of things. It is not boring. Join Rob Bradford on his podcast, Baseball Isn't Boring. Every day, Rob taking you through the league, spotlighting what makes the game fun. Talks to players, managers, GMs, and reporters, all shining a light on America's pastime. Follow Baseball Isn't Boring in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, Padres baseball in particular has been the opposite of boring lately. Almost too exciting, honestly. So almost too exciting every single day. I'm ready for an easy victory. I'm ready for 8-1 and not really having to sweat every pitch from the 6th through the 9th innings. Please. Thank you.
I told you, blowout squad. Grit squad's amazing, so fun. You just wonder how long it can keep up, and every time we say that, they continue to grind it out, and it's been really special.
Someone made the point, I think it was in the chat earlier this morning. Is this a good thing for when postseason time comes around? And these are the kind of games you do have to play.
I think it's something you say. I think it's a good. It's a good trope.
You're comfortable being uncomfortable late in the game. Yeah, I mean it's true.
Think about the Dodgers, man, over the last few years with this is an even more interesting question. The Diamondbacks and the Padres being good and challenging the Dodgers in August and September. Is that actually a bad thing if you don't like the Dodgers? Because those guys are in literal cruise control mode for most of September every single year. And we see how it works out for them in the postseason. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
We'll talk about all of this and more with the voice of the Padres, Jesse Agler, who joins us right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, we've been seeing a lot of motorcycle accidents lately, and I'm not liking it. Got one on northbound side of the 805 before Plaza Boulevard. It's being moved over the right shoulder. Cordell traffic cam shows a motorcycle accident in the North County, West 56, Camino del Sur. Emergency crews on scene. It's got the 2 left lanes blocked. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I'd imagine for a play-by-play broadcaster, though, nothing makes your job better or easier or more fun than exciting close games, because then you don't have to vamp for 4 innings in a blowout and try to come up with things to talk about. You just call the game and everybody's into it on the edge of their seat. And we're joined right now by Jesse Agler here on 97.3 The Fan. What a week. I mean, I think we said that last week, but here we go again. What a week, Jesse.
A lot of fun, a lot of craziness. But you know what, guys, before we talk baseball, bone to pick.
Oh, let's go. Oh, I think I know where this is going.
Reputations are important. And, you being associated with me being associated with you, that's a two-way street. You know, like people, and this is a great thing, they think of 97.3 The Fan, San Diego's #1 sports station. They think about Ben and Woods. They think about Jesse. They think about Tony and Ello, everybody else, right? So I'm in the Marlin clubhouse the other day, and I'm trying to talk to a couple of the Marlin players who are from San Diego, because I like to meet the San Diego guys around the league, get to know them a little bit. Hey, who'd you grow up liking? All that kind of stuff. And I'm standing there. Now, here's something to know about Major League clubhouses. Generally speaking, managers do not spend very much time in the players' part of the clubhouse. It's sort of the players' area. Managers are usually in their offices. They might fly by every once in a while, but most Major League managers spend very, very, very little time in the players' part of the clubhouse. So I'm in there before the first game in Miami. I'm trying to meet Kyle Stowers, right, and talk to him. And as I take a step towards his locker, I am grabbed from behind by the very muscular manager of the Miami Marlins, Skip Schumacher. And he goes, hey. And I'm like, hey, Skip, what's up? And he goes, your boys, meaning you. And he points to his shirt, which apparently at one point was a Ben and Woods T-shirt that he was wearing, and it had been totally washed away. The letters had fallen off, and I said, boy, Skip, you must really wear that shirt out. And he goes, I've washed it twice.
Paulie's put
and
it
I
up for
said,
everyone to see.
I don't want to necessarily take responsibility for this, but I will pass it along to the boys. And yeah, he had me take a picture.
It's like on and
zzz. And I had to hear about that the entire weekend.
On and zzz is what the shirt says, because the lettering washed away. Now, in our defense, I don't I don't have like a screen printing room at home where I'm personally putting my heart and
Hand-stitching our
soul
own merchandise
into these.
So
Jesse?
here's what I've learned, in life, right, and in business. You are responsible for your stuff.
You're right. You're damn right.
We don't get to blame the distributor.
That's
we don't
true.
get to play, with a little company that you guys use to print these things out. No. It's your responsibility.
Accountability.
Your name, literally.
We've already replaced it.
We have.
Yes.
Paulie is sending Skip a whole new
8 shirts.
How sweet of that angel to be wearing that shirt anyway. I love it. Well, when you texted that to me, I was mortified. I was absolutely mortified.
I have the same shirt. I've had it for like 3 years.
Can you wash yours?
I've washed it more than twice.
Just gotta.
I'm like, what are you?
Those industrial laundries they use in Major League Baseball.
Yes,
the problem here.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
That
The clubhouse washing machine. Also, perhaps his muscles have stretched the shirt out so much.
I don't have to worry about that here.
Yeah, fat doesn't have the same effect on the shirt.
No sinew here.
All of our logos are intact. No, it was awesome, man. I know how I've actually talked to Manny's wife about how nuts it gets for them when they go back down to Miami because he's from there and everyone's like, I need tickets. I want batting practice. I need you to hit me ground balls. I want you to teach me how to field ground balls. He's pretty under the gun. How about for you when you're down in Miami?
I've kind of in an antisocial way taken control of the situation. I mean, I don't do anything anymore. For the first few years back, I really did feel like I had a responsibility to different friends and family, and you wear yourself out. And this trip, I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't text anybody back. I didn't call anybody back. I was hotel, ballpark, hotel. That was it. The entire 3 days. Also it's August and it's baseball season, and August in baseball season means you're exhausted. And I just didn't have anything to give anybody, and I feel badly about that. I will raise my hand up and say I am a terrible friend. And I will apologize for that to, my loved ones back in South Florida, but I just don't have it. And right now my energy is focused on this team and the two little people who were up at 3:00 this morning in my house. And that's it. That's all I have. There's no extra energy. So, bad friend, not as good of a friend as Manny is to his people, because when I went back, there was nothing outside of the ballpark that took place socializing wise. Now I saw some people there, that work in media or around, the ballpark who I've known for a long time. So I caught up with them, but I mean, there was nothing outside of that.
Bro,
I shut it down.
Self-care is massively, massively important, Jesse. And you guys, I thought about you when I was in Hawaii, and I told the fellas this. We did the 6-hour trip over to Hawaii. Granted, I'm 49 years old, but I got off the plane and my ass was hurting from sitting. My back was hurting. My knees were hurt. And I go, these guys, not you, but you and the players, but these guys do this all the time. And then they got to go and they got to get their body ready. Then they got to get their mind right. I will never think enough credit is given out to the players, you guys, the managers, the coaches, for the grind of that season. The grind. I did one 6-hour flight and I got up and was like, oh my God, dude. I needed a hot tub and a cold tub. I mean, it's pretty nuts. And you guys do that all the time.
It's to me one of the things that makes baseball so special is grind is the only word you can use, right? I mean, it's just unlike anything else in sports. And I've had the opportunity to travel with an NFL team. I've had the opportunity to travel with an NHL team. And there's just nothing like this because of the schedule, because of the number of the games. You're never home for more than a week and a half. And then, you're on the road usually for about a week, maybe 10 days sometimes. And it's just ping pong, back and forth. And particularly with this newer schedule, the last 2 years now, we're going east even more because you're playing, half the American League teams on the road every year. So there's, even more longer travel, fewer trips to Arizona, Colorado, LA, and Phoenix, or San Francisco, more trips, to places in the Central and the East. So it's even more so now. And look, it's part of the deal. Every team does it. Some teams more than others, obviously. The Mariners are kind of off on their own island up there in the Pacific Northwest. But, I mean, it's not easy on anybody. And as you said, the players have a physical component to it that is just remarkable that they get ready. And it's part of why guys like Manny take so much pride in playing almost every day. Yeah. There is a real thing to that because it is near impossible, on this schedule to go out and do that. And so if you kind of set your mind to saying, hey, I'm trying to play X number or start, X number of games in a year. Like, there is a real pride that should be taken with that. Because as you said, it's not just your butt hurts after getting off the plane. It's like, how many different time zones did we do?
Yes.
Where are we? Like, I can't tell you how many times this season I will wake up in a hotel and it takes me a good 30 seconds to be like, all right, where are we? And it's not because I was drinking the night before. It's just because you really don't know where you are half the time.
That's crazy, man.
It's a wild thing. It is.
Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres, is with us, and Jackson Merrill is certainly making your job fun. We've been playing all the calls of first the game-tying home runs, and you just have to ramp up the energy every time. But then last night, out of the blue, the game-winning, clinching catch with 2 outs in the 9th inning. What were you thinking? We heard your call, but kind of what were you thinking as the ball left the bat? Did he have a chance at it? Should he have? I was thinking he's got to play this on a hop to keep the runner from coming around from first base, but not our
Merrill on
Jackson
the move,
Merrill.
dives, reaches down, and he made the catch.
Off the bat, I thought gap. And, you have so many thoughts so quickly when you're doing this. And then the second I kind of looked up, he had this is going to sound weird, but the body language of a guy who's going to get there.
Yep.
Like the way the strides were going. And we're lucky because we have an unbelievable view, from where we sit at Petco. So really, really good look at, the whole landscape and sort of where the ball is, where he is, and able to track it. And he just, from the first moment that I looked from the batter's box out to the outfield, in my brain, I was like, oh, he's got a shot to get there. And it was obviously an extraordinary play. He's something else right now. I mean, it's going to become redundant at some point. And, we're all saying it seems like every single day. But I loved what, I don't know if it was Profar or Bogart, somebody was quoted the other day in the paper of it's not that he wants to win. It's that he hates to lose. And there's a difference there. And I think, all of us as fans, what could you ever love more than a key player, a very talented player who hates losing? That's it. We want wins. We want championships. And to have a guy, kind of emerging to play as significant of a role as he has, that doesn't just want to win, because they all want to win. They're the most competitive people on the planet. But that one of the guys who is also one of the most competitive people on the planet can turn and say, it's a little bit different even with him. I mean, that tells you an awful lot about, who he is and what he's brought to this team.
No doubt. I mean, there's so much credit that needs to go out to so many people, Jesse. I mean, you could do a whole show of, Kyle Higashioka, we're nowhere without him. Jurickson Profar, we're nowhere without. I mean, on and on. Tyler Wade has been involved in some crazy I mean, truly, it is. When Mike Schultz says, 26 guys, he truly means it. I mean, we went back over that last series when I got back in town, and I went, no, everybody except for the 2 guys that didn't start on the mound, Waldron and whoever it was, everybody else contributed some way. It is how you have to win. There's just so much credit that needs to be given out. For you, when you watch this team, Jackson Merrill aside, who have you looked to in the last couple of weeks and said, man, what a way to step up, game changer type scene?
I mean, as you said, it's been everybody at one point or another, and that's the whole point, right? I mean, that's the kind of roster you need to get through the grind, to get through the marathon, is the kind of roster where you have a Donovan Solano who can be 5 for 10 as a pinch hitter and hit a 2-run homer to put them back in the game the other night in Miami, who had a pinch hit walk-off single, earlier this year. A guy like David Peralta and another guy like Bryce Johnson, they're not necessarily going to set the world on fire, but they're going to give you more than enough in right field, while one of the most talented guys in baseball, is shelved with an injury in right field. The starting pitching, the relief pitching, guys like Brian Hoeing.
I was going to say Brian Hoeing.
Amazing.
I mean, yeah.
That first game in Pittsburgh, the rain delay game where Cease only got to throw the 1 inning. Hoeing comes out, he provides the length. They still ended up needing to use, I think, 4 or 5 more relievers after that. And then the next night was that utterly bonkers game. Same thing. I think King went 5, and they had to use 5 or 6 relievers after that. Not that long ago, had the Padres been in a position where they got 1 inning out of their starter on Tuesday, 5 innings out of their starter on Wednesday, and had to use that number of relievers, they would have been sunk for a week afterwards. How many times did we see that earlier this year? But now, after the deadline, the depth that they've put together in the bullpen, they went on a winning streak. That was part of a big winning streak. That is not supposed to happen. teams are not supposed to keep winning and winning and winning and winning after games like that and situations like that. So that speaks to A, the depth of talent on this team, and B, the sort of, tremendous ability that Mike Schilt, Ruben Niebla, Ben Fritz have of navigating, those kinds of waters and being able to strategically make it work when really it shouldn't work. You shouldn't be able to have that kind of success coming out of games like that. But again, it's a really, really good team. It's a really, really deep team. What matters now is maybe a little bit different than what matters in October, and not to get ahead of myself, but it sure feels like they're built for both. And there's something very exciting about that.
Well, we have Woods here for the first time for a song lyric incorporator, and sounded like you kind of settled in last week really nicely.
Oh, I like this.
With Bob, you'll be with Tony tonight, our new incorporator, where Jesse has to work song lyrics into the broadcast tonight.
It's also my favorite because he doesn't even like music. So that's the best part.
This one actually just came up organically today because we were playing Take on Woods, and this was our 2-second song. We thought, this would be perfect for Jesse. So, Paul, I'll be waiting time after time.
A little bit of little leading the witness, but you do with it what you want.
It's fun because there's a few different ways.
That's what we thought. That might be a good one.
Absolutely. It's going to be perfect.
Tremendous.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you very much.
Tonight, 6:40, 5:40 Eco Water SoCal pregame show with Sam Levitt. Have a good one, Jesse.
You too, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres, and the incorporator. Moving on to the song lyrics. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting time after time.
Yeah. Do with it what you will.
Whatever you will. There's definitely, I thought of the same thing as Jesse. There's a couple of different ways he can go with this one tonight. Game 2 of the series. We'll talk more about it coming up in our final hour. First, though, Paulie's got some headlines in the Reindl Report ahead, including, I believe, some Huey Lewis news for us.
Huey Lewis and the news.
The news.
Oh, no, I got it. Yes.
Hey, it's Gravy here, and I know this is news to you, but I have not played professional baseball. So, you get the fan perspective on the Scraby Show. Come and discuss all the crazy Padres news and theories with me, weekdays at 6 p.m. on 97.3 The Fan.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle, with APRs in the 5s. You can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 619-207-4336. 619-207-4336. LoanPronto.com. 619-207-4336.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
The biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back. Circa Survivor and Circa Million are now up to a record $16 million in guaranteed prizes. 2 ways to win and no rake. Circa Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed through quarterly and full season payouts. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. Visit circasports.com for details.
Check out the new Buffalo Wild Wings in San Diego at 9690 Regan Road, opening on Monday, August 26th, for a chance to score free wings for a year. That's right, free wings for a year. Be one of the first 100 guests in line on Monday, August 26th for your chance to win big. Or join 97.3 The Fan on Wednesday, September 4th from 2 to 6 p.m. at the new Buffalo Wild Wings in San Diego for our live broadcast, where we will be giving away free wings for a year to 10 lucky guests. guests.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly. I would recommend QC to anybody. QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 619-614-PAIN. That's 619-614-PAIN. 619-614-PAIN.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Never miss anything surrounding the San Diego State Aztecs by following San Diego's #1 sports station on X at 97.3 The Fan SD.
These guys have given me everything they've had, so we can feel good about the things we did.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
This is Manny Machado from the San Diego Padres.
Machado into second with his second double in as many innings.
The Padres play here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan and Odyssey Sports Station.
I recovered. What's got me a little bit, but I did not fall out of the chair breaking Ben. Just
Pretty close.
Just the tease for the Huey Lewis and the news.
And the
with
news.
Paulie Reindl coming up next. Got me a little bit. Before we get there, though, I want to wish you a happy vacation in our chat. Love seeing where people are traveling in our chat. Chris is in Florence. I assume he means Florence, Italy right now. I hope you have an amazing time. It's one of the very few European destinations I've been to. In fact, I'll give you a restaurant recommendation because that's what I like to do.
In Florence.
In Florence. So does anyone remember, it used to be downtown by Petco Park, Italian restaurant called Acqua al Due?
No.
It was right there in the gas lamps, just a couple of blocks from Petco. It was a great spot to go before the games, great Italian food. But it was a sister restaurant. The original was in Florence, Italy. And when we actually went, and I just checked, it's still open. So it was fantastic. We had a great meal there. Acqua al Due in Florence, Italy. So, Chris, maybe you already have plans, but that's my Florentine recommendation for you.
As Johnny says, here in Florence.
Here in Florence. Really good food.
So he's in Florence. He's listening to Ben and Woods.
So you know the bistec Florentine, the steak in Florence, the kind of really rare T-bone that they make with a little olive oil.
I don't know because I've never been.
Well, you need to
go.
go.
No idea.
Ben and Woods show trip to Florence instead of Arizona.
Let's try to get to one trip before we start going international.
All right.
Just one.
Just a thought, but that's pretty cool.
He said he's going to go tomorrow. Check it out. What's the name of it?
Acqua al Due. Due is the number 2. So Aqua AL number 2.
2 waters.
Yeah, Aqua al Due.
Maybe.
Give him 2 waters,
I'm just guessing. 2 waters.
Aqua al Due.
Great.
All right, Paulie, why don't we get to it? Don't make anybody wait any longer.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report. with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
How we doing, gentlemen?
Good.
Let's start. I got one more note here on the Olympics. I imagine you guys kind of wrapped up the Olympics a little bit yesterday, probably. Closing ceremonies. Oh, yeah. What, did you catch any of the gold medal basketball game on Saturday?
Last 30 seconds.
That's all you needed.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, it's fine by me.
No, he actually tuned in after Steph Curry had
after
made
the
all
run.
all his 3-pointers.
Last
though.
16
You really
seconds.
needed the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You would have been good, but that's fine.
All right, well, one more Olympics story here. And did you guys talk about Jordan Childs at all? And
We did not, actually.
No. Okay.
Which is the last remaining lingering controversy from the Olympics.
So we have updates, but maybe set the record on
Right.
what exactly happened.
Floor
I guess?
exercise, individual competition. It was kind of one of the moments of the Olympics when the Brazilian gymnast Andrade, who had always been in Simone Biles' shadow, she won. Biles finished second. And then in a controversial finish, Childs finished fifth, but they scored it wrong. They didn't give her enough credit for one of her routines. So the U.S. asked, hey, I don't think you gave this the right scoring. They looked at it and they said, you're right. And they added 0.1, which moved her from fifth to third.
Right.
And they gave her the bronze. They took it away from, I think, the Romanian gymnast who had finished third. So, good for her. Too bad for the Romanian, but they finally got it right in the end. Except they then switched it over the weekend and said that the U.S. did not get their scoring protest in the allotted 60 seconds. It actually took them 63 seconds to get their protest in. So they revoked and said she now has to give back the bronze medal so they can give it to the Romanian.
But they did get it in time.
Well, and then the U.S. appealed and said, we have video evidence that we got it in 47 seconds. And they said there's no extra appeal process. So they said our decision is final. Jordan Childs needs to give back her bronze medal, even though she did absolutely nothing wrong. She did a routine. It was the third best routine. They made the mistake on the scoring, and then they made the mistake by saying it came after a minute when the U.S. says, no, it's 47 seconds. But they said, well, there's nothing we can do about it now. You have to give back your bronze medal.
That's ridiculous.
Which doesn't, it's terrible.
Doesn't feel
it's
right.
awful.
Her first medal ever.
Yeah.
And then they also said, and I thought, which was very nice, Child said, why don't we just give both of them bronze medals?
Yes, fine.
And they said, no, we can't do that either. Yeah, but you've done it before in other controversies. You can't even do it here. You can't give them both a bronze medal. No, she has to give back the bronze medal.
If the judges don't make the mistake, none of this happens.
Exactly.
The judges made the mistake.
Right.
She didn't make a mistake. She actually got shortchanged. It doesn't make any sense, and that's a bummer, man. That's a bummer.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, Flava Flav, we've talked about him a lot.
Yeah.
At the Olympics. He's been
Mr. Olympic.
He's been, Mr. Olympics. He has been
Mr. Red Lobster.
Sponsoring half the athletes, it feels like.
Did he get the lottery? I know he made money from Public Enemy and his TV shows, but I thought he was in some dire straits there for a while.
I mean, maybe this is just great marketing because we've been talking about Flavor Flav way more.
And Red Lobster.
Than we have before.
Yeah.
So he's genius.
Well, he posted on social media, USA going to fight the powers that be. In the meantime, I'm going to always be a man of my word at Childs Jordan, and he got her a bronzed clock necklace.
Perfect.
And
like his clock necklace.
I don't know that fully replaces the bronze medal that she had to
cool.
give back, but it's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's a good consolation, I guess.
Yeah, he's like the glow up of Flavor Flav has been really fun to watch.
And then I saw he posted it on Twitter, and I think it was Jordan, maybe her mom. Said she's not on social media right now, but I'll make sure she sees this.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
So she did return it, Jeffrey said.
She returned the bronze medal?
bronze medal.
That sucks, man.
You'd have to find it first if it was mine.
No idea. I misplaced it.
Yeah, I've already lost it. Sorry.
All right,
that's killer. I love that. Paulie put it in the chat. The
looks
bronze
cool.
clock looks badass.
Better than actually the bronze medal, honestly.
Yeah, boy. All right, next up, we teased this earlier. We never actually got to it, but watching the Padres game last night. Now, I have seen this like once before. I don't know when the Padres broadcast started doing this, but they did not go to a commercial break after the bottom of the 8th inning last night.
They've done it a few times. I've seen this
recent,
before
though.
last night, but it is fairly recent.
I feel
I'd
like I saw it,
say
like, last
All-Star
week.
break or just before when they did it the first time.
Well, I would just like to say thank you to whoever came up with this idea to not go to a commercial break. They could have sold some more spots, played some more commercials there. No, the third out of the bottom of the 8th inning happens, and instead the mics go quiet, and you get to see the full entrance of Robert Suarez. The stadium lights go out. Everyone pulls out their cell phone and has the flashlights on, and it looked so cool. I'm going to play it here on the stream. If you're watching, you can still listen as well.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Padres, number 75, Robert Suarez.
Got the camera following him from the bullpen all the way to the mound. He does the check with the umpires and then starts to warm up. I thought this was so cool. We've seen it. I mean, we haven't really seen it much here since Hell's Bells.
Yeah.
Like the full entrance. You know, Ryan Helsley has his now. Hell's Bells as well. And you see other, like Edwin Diaz had one. You see it around the
His was
league.
great.
And we always talk about it, but I was waiting for it to happen here in San Diego.
So is this the same song that he's always used? The Bandolero from the Tokyo Drift soundtrack. Okay.
Yes.
Same one. Okay.
I think so.
I just wasn't sure. I wasn't familiar with the song.
It's badass.
It does sound pretty cool.
I just thought that was I noticed that right away. I was like, oh, they're not going to break. This is out.
It
this
made,
is awesome.
It made me
you don't have
sad
to see somebody's cell phone camera from the third deck.
that we didn't get to used to do that when Trevor Hoffman came out to Hell's Bells. They would go to commercial break. Usually, sometimes you'd hear like a bell or
You'd hear
two,
a bell, and then
they go to break,
oh.
and then when they came back, he'd be warming up. But we should have seen every single Trevor Hoffman walk in for his entire Hall of Fame career. Would have been great.
Of all the cool stuff in sports, the closer intro is up there for me. You know, with Trevor and Mariano and now this and Edwin Diaz's was badass. The trumpets. I mean, it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. I love. It would make me.
Although it was really dumb when they played it in the playoffs when they were down 7-0 and they brought him into the game.
Yeah,
that's
dumb.
That was stupid.
Yeah,
to do that.
God, it's so good.
Lance says, I was there, and it's about as good as Hell's Bells with Trevor. Like when you're there catching it.
And Ryan Helsley using Hell's Bells is a problem.
I hate that.
Even though his name is Helsley.
He's really
I get
good.
that, and
I
he's
get
really
it.
good, but got a problem with that as well.
Well, that was the news. Now let's get to Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis. Yeah, we did the news already.
So, I saw this story here on Billboard.com. Huey Lewis is set to star in a mockumentary-style sitcom on Fox called Whatever Happened to Huey Lewis. And, just as if you've ever wondered, like, why hasn't anyone pitched a Curb Your Enthusiasm type show about Huey Lewis? You got it. It's been answered. It's coming. It's on its way. So, first of all, any initial interest there?
Yes, absolutely. You love Huey Lewis.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Big fan.
He's going to star in it. He's going to be the executive producer. It's a half-hour sitcom playing a fictionalized version of himself, the single-camera comedy. He's been longtime friends with the producer. Blah, 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 blah. It's being written and executive produced in the moment right now. So, I'm trying to find a release date.
Yeah, he's done some
for it.
acting before. He was in Back to the Future. Did you know that?
Yes, he was the teacher.
He was the guy at the band tryouts at the beginning who says, "You're just too darn loud."
Too darn loud. Yep.
When they were playing a hard rock version of The Power of Love on stage, and Marty didn't get the gig for the dance.
So in 2018, it says he started to lose his hearing. And it's kind of a lighthearted take on the current phase of his life. And dotted by his codependent family, which is funny, and eccentric celebrity friends. I love that, actually. I've always liked Huey Lewis. I've been a big fan.
I love Huey Lewis. What's your favorite Huey Lewis song? I wonder if we have the same song.
I like Heart and Soul a lot.
Okay, that's a good one.
And I like Do You Believe in Love?
You know, I love The Power of Love.
Power of Love is great.
And I love the Heart of Rock and Roll. What's wrong with that one? I like how they list all the cities.
Oh my God.
He goes through it's like the map of the United States. D.C., San Antonio, and the Liberty Town. Boston and a Baton Rouge. Tulsa, Austin, Oklahoma City, Seattle, San Francisco, too.
Detroit. It's the war song. It's the old-timey rock and roll of Huey Lewis and the News.
I like old-time rock and roll, too. You know I do.
Oh, my God.
It's a geography lesson and a song at the same time.
Hey, I'm out of lyrics. I'm just going to start reading cities. Escondido, Encinitas. You should do a parody of just the San Diego County. That would be great. That song's so bad. So bad. Adam says, that's not the worst song. We built the city's worst. Yeah,
I love
likes
that one
too.
It's another city song.
What am I dealing with?
I like maps.
All right. Yeah, he likes maps.
I do.
Yeah.
So, of course, he likes
You get
that
me
song.
with geography every single
All
time.
right, do the cities again.
D.C., San Antonio, and the Liberty Town, Boston, and a Baton Rouge, Tulsa, Austin, Oklahoma City, Seattle, San Francisco, too.
Continue.
Detroit. Heart of rock and roll.
I think he nailed it. I think he got it down.
Everywhere there's music.
You are something else, man. And I know you like Power Love because
Of course.
Back to the
Future, my favorite movie growing
That's
up.
Great
For sure.
Bro, did I tell you I tried to watch that? I think I did tell this story. I tried to watch it with Bo. You couldn't. I'm better off watching Hamlet.
No interest?
There's interest, but he's like, hey, where is he? What is going on? How does this happen? And I'm like, wait 7 years.
I guess he's already 40 years in the past when they start the movie.
Correct.
So it gets kind of
it's
confusing,
very confusing
to someone watching it for the first time in 2024.
So that's his mom? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, how did he get there? I don't know.
I
dude.
will admit.
Forget
so
it.
when I was young, I was probably like 9 when it came out, and I didn't understand how they could make Leah Thompson look so young
Correct.
in the past when she was all old and
smoking cigarettes.
in the present. This is amazing movie magic that they have made Leah Thompson and Crispin Glover look so young from 30 years ago.
I swear to God.
Couldn't figure out. Oh, no, they're just making them look older in the present.
Like, I didn't get the picture bit until maybe like 3 years ago. I'm not getting
Erased.
When the picture
from
erased.
existence.
Exactly. Oh, that song sucks.
Christopher Lloyd's best role. Doc
was
Brown
great.
is fantastic.
He was spectacular. 100%.
A Bolt of Lightning.
It's a really good movie. But if you have a very inquisitive 5-year-old, 6-year-old,
it's a lot of questions.
you're like,
on that
bro,
movie.
I'm begging you. Watch it, let it breathe, and then maybe we can explain it after it's over. It's very tough to explain.
Well, looked around on like 4 different websites. No idea when the Huey Lewis mockumentary sitcom will air for Fox, but it's probably early in production right now.
I'm into it.
I'll let you know when
I wish it was on like a Netflix or something so they could curse and stuff.
Max,
something where they could curse, and because that's part of the reason why Curb Your Enthusiasm's so
He's pretty
funny.
family friendly though.
Is he?
He's always been, yeah.
Curb would not be the same show at all.
Not at all.
If they had to be
cursing.
on network
No,
television.
no,
like that.
it wouldn't even. It would be like a worse Seinfeld, I think.
Yeah. You couldn't even have JB Smooth's
No,
character.
he couldn't.
just
He
couldn't
wouldn't even exist. So good, dude. So good. Thank you, Paulie.
You're welcome.
All right, speaking of music, we got some concert tickets to give away in our next segment. A chance to go see Journey, Def Leppard at Petco Park on August 30th. Your opportunity to win coming up after traffic. Stick around. Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Back to the Future note for you, Woods. Our boss Adam in the chat mentioned the famous 1.21 gigawatts line. So as a big fan, I've followed that a little bit. So this is like the GIF thing. They just didn't know how gigawatts was pronounced.
You're kidding.
And he said gigawatts, and no one really knew, so they just left it in there.
Is that right?
It became an iconic movie. There's no such thing as a gigawatt.
Because there's a
It's a gigawatt.
Gigawatt.
But he didn't. He just said, "Is it gigawatt or gigawatt?" Let's go with gigawatt.
That's incredible.
And so they just left it in there.
I remember being a kid going to Universal Studios for the first time and seeing the town square and just being like, you know, like it was like the first time
the clock tower.
Oh, what a great movie that is. Now the rest of them were not good. Second one was okay. Third one was.
I'm a big enough fan that I like them all, even the sequels.
Well, I mean, you also like Heart of Rock and Roll.
There's a bit of a repetitive.
This city.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. You built this city on rock and roll.
I'm not as discriminating as you are.
That's
Is
true.
that a bad thing?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Be more discriminating.
I have more things that make me happy. I like more things than you do.
I think, yes, you do. You like more things than
We've
a lot
established
of people do.
It's a good way to live. Just like everything, and you just tend to be happy all the time.
Back to the gigawatts.
Gigawatts.
I was scrolling Instagram a few days ago, and I saw somebody posted an old video of Bryce Harper, and it said, "Never forget when Bryce Harper didn't know how to say meme." And it was like high school Bryce Harper or young Bryce Harper.
Meme, right?
He was getting interviewed by like ESPN or Baseball Tonight or whatever. And they cut out the question. It was something like they were asking about, like, oh, would you get that kind of a haircut or something? And he just goes, no, I wouldn't do that. Like, I already know how that would go. There'd be so many memes of me.
But we didn't know back then. It's just an invented word. It doesn't really mean anything.
That's what I call my grandmother.
MEMO. MEMO is memo. Why wouldn't MEME be meme? I get it.
Meme. Can you make me a sandwich?
Meemaw.
Meemaw. Mama.
Oh, here we go.
I don't even want to answer that right now because I know how many memes are going to be out there of me with a bald head.
Good God. It's like staggering to hear it. Meme. That's fantastic, dude. Holy crap, that is fantastic stuff. Meme.
This is great on Twitter. Our friend Allie Rat. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I love Allie Rat.
Shout out Allie Rat, and we used to work with at the old station. She pointed out this tweet from last night.
You can't play it.
I'm not playing it.
A lot of curses
I
in it.
I can read though what he tweeted from Saxboy Billy 18. It says Jaw. This is a Pirates fan who was at the game last night. Jaw legit on the floor on how nice Petco Park is. Fans locked into every pitch. The best vendor variety I've seen yet. Stadium looks like it was built yesterday, even though it was opened in 2005. Wow. Let's go Bucks. It is really cool because PNC Park is generally considered to be a top 3 park in baseball by most people who go there. And this is a guy who goes to PNC, going to Petco and just having his mind blown.
Saw that, yeah. And I watched the video.
What a great park we have.
I watched the video. There's a lot of cursing in it, but
yeah, I didn't play the video.
Yeah,
I just read the tweet, which was a nice moment. And it's not great venue just for baseball. It's also great for concerts. And right now we've got your opportunity to win tickets to see Def Leppard and Journey at Petco Park later this month. August 30th. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. But if you be the fifth caller right now, 833-288. If you be the fifth caller at 833-288-0973, you will win a pair of tickets to Journey, Def Leppard at Petco Park on August 30th.
I bet your favorite Def Leppard song, I know it. It's Pour Some Sugar on Me.
That's the best one.
God. You should program an adult contemporary station. You would slay it.
See, you always make fun of how your radio stations were programmed.
Yes.
I thought it made perfect sense. Just play the ones we want to hear over and over again.
Who wants to hear that?
I don't want to hear anything else.
Some sugar on me. I bet you that's their last song. Yes? You like that one?
Yeah, that's absolutely a good call. Let's see. Def. I'm going to look up their
It's got to be the last one.
Now, who's the headliner and who's the opening?
Well, they got Steve Miller Band too. Steve Miller
really?
Band.
Oh, that'd be my headliner.
And then I think it's Journey. And I bet your favorite Steve Miller song is The Joker. Your favorite Steve Miller song is The Joker.
No, I like Jet Airliner.
That's pretty good.
They end with Hysteria and then Pour Some Sugar.
But the best song of the night is Don't Stop Believin' by Journey, right? Of that concert. the best song of the whole night that you're waiting for is "Don't Stop Believing."
Not for me, probably. It's just been done to death.
Well, I like done.
Did they do "Stone in Love"?
I don't know. I'm not looking. I'm just looking at
Journey, not Def Leppard.
Journey's song lists.
It's a great. I got tickets for my wife. She's going. I bought them for her for Christmas, so she's going to go rage.
I don't love Any Way You Want It.
That's how they end, actually.
They ended with "Stone in Love."
No. They end with "Don't Stop Believing" and then "Any Way You Want It."
Oh, see, I don't love "Any Way You Want It."
So you could leave.
I could, but I love "Don't Stop Believing."
It's great.
Steve Miller Band. Their set list ends with Jet Airliner.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Right
See,
after
I know.
Joker.
I know what people like.
Jet Airliner also has geography,
It
as
does.
Dominic points out. Man, you really do like maps and songs, everything.
It also has the S word in it, which is very risque for me.
It does. It does. You don't want to get caught up in any of that funky S going down in the city.
Kicks, as they usually do on the clean radio stations that I heard it on. But then I actually heard the real lyric once, and I was blown away that Steve Miller knew such blue words.
Mark says that Journey has a new singer. It's not the same. He's as good. I've heard good things. He's as good as prime Steve Perry. He sounds just. We should do that bit. Who is it? Steve Perry or the other guy? Ariel something, I think is his name. He's really
He's
good.
like Filipino?
Yeah, he's Filipino.
Yeah.
He's incredible. Incredible.
All right. I see people calling in. Good luck. We'll let you know who the winner was when we come back, and we'll look ahead. Game 2 of the Padres Pirates series tonight at Petco Park coming up next year on Better Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Got some breaking football news that Woods is going to give you in just a moment. First, this hour on 97.
Are you ready for some football? I forgot about that bit. I love that.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by the Farmer's Dog, fresh human-grade dog food. We really do, actually.
There is some, yeah.
From a healthier weight to more energy, when you switch your dog's food to the Farmer's Dog, the effects can feel magical. What sorcery is this? None at all. It's just real food made for the health of dogs. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/radio. Yeah, just share with everyone that what you just shared with me from Twitter.
I had been seeing some pretty decent reports coming in on Twitter, which is where I get most of my football news. I'm not just not fully into it yet. Padres are still way in it, so I'm like it's on the back burner. But I've been seeing some good videos coming out of camp, Ben, Vikings camp from J.J. McCarthy. But looks like now he's expected to undergo knee surgery that's going to determine how much time he will be sidelined for. Fear not, Vikings fans. Fear not. You've got Sam Darnold, so you're in great shape.
He was actually probably going to be the starter as they worked J.J. McCarthy in at the beginning. I'm sure at some point they're well, why don't I just FaceTime Kevin
please
O'Connell?
Don't. No, do not do it.
Without any warning
Please
and
do
see
not.
if we can get the latest.
Oh, my God. Oh,
from
my God.
him. No,
Oh, my
I'm not
God.
going
Oh,
to
my
do
God.
that this time. No, I'm not. He didn't answer last time. I didn't give him. He said, give me warning next time. I'll answer. But I did not warn him that we were going to FaceTime him to ask him about J.J. McCarthy. Plus, he's in the middle of training camp and probably in a meeting or in a practice or some sort of film room at this point.
Yeah, also, you don't want to FaceTime and be like, so, what are you going to do at quarterback now? Ha ha. Your guy's hurt.
Want to make some national news right now?
Right.
Give us your whole plan for the upcoming season. Darn
Forget it.
meniscus.
I know. Torn meniscus for J.J. McCarthy. That's a bummer. But listen, I'm not a Vikings
Probably
fan.
better now than later, though.
Sure, yeah.
So there's your breaking
There it
football
is.
news, courtesy of Woods. We'll check traffic and we'll look ahead to tonight's Game 2 of the Padres Pirates series at Petco Park next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
It looks like that crash involving a motorcycle has cleared on West 56 near Camino del Sur. Still seeing a lot of residual slowing through that area. Southbound 163 at the West 8 connector ramp, collision over the right shoulder. Now getting reports of a crash on northbound 125 past Hamishaw. A couple vehicles involved. It's got the fast lane blocked. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So Jeff in the chat gets me. He says, dang it, I'm listening to Heart of Rock and Roll right now. This thing is so catchy. Corny AF, but I get why Ben likes this. Then he adds, if it's corny and catchy, 99.9% Ben is going to like it. Yes.
Yeah.
Corny and catchy is my sweet spot when it comes to music.
Matt says, sometimes I feel like having a heart rate monitor on Stephen would be a great bit. I don't think that it would be, actually. I don't know how much time I've got left, but yeah, I don't know how good that would be. Just a constant ticker on the YouTube feed. I'll sign up for it if you guys can figure out the technology.
They did it on NBC in the Olympics for some of the parents. They had them hooked up to heart rate monitors as they were watching like their kids swimming and doing other diving, other competitions. Boom, beat like 140 beats per minute just watching in the stands.
I can't even imagine. The parental reaction from the Olympics was some of the best stuff that I saw. I didn't watch a ton, but when I did see it, the head in the hands, and there was one that she didn't do that well. And you could just see like the pain that you have, for their kids. It was just insane. But yeah, I'll sign up for it if you guys can figure it out.
All right, Game 2, Padres Pirates tonight. Padres already 4-0 against the Pirates this season, and in the last week and a half, trying to make it 5 in a row. Pirates have lost 8 straight, and this will be not a rematch, but Padres will see Luis Ortiz again for the second time in 2 weeks. They scored 4 off of him in 6 innings in that game in Pittsburgh. It was the one where they jumped out to the 4-0 lead in the first 2 innings on the Machado and Peralta home runs. So, and then they just stopped scoring, and then the Pirates ended up coming back to take the 5-4 lead, and then the Padres went back ahead in the 9th on the error. That was the Higashioka, could have been the inning-ending double play, but instead they threw it away, and they ended up winning that one 7-6. But that was the Luis Ortiz game.
He's not bad. I mean, he's got good stuff.
Yeah, so they'll see him for a second time. I'd imagine Manning will be back in the lineup. Peralta will probably get another chance, but you can't. That was the one game they actually scored early, and then they stopped scoring. It's the exact opposite of a lot of the other Padres games where they don't score early, and then they score against the bullpen. but nothing between the second and the ninth inning for the Padres in that game last week in Pittsburgh. But they did win it 7-6 as they've won every single game against the Pirates. But they've all been really, really close. Obviously, they played the extra inning game and then 1-run games after that, the last 3 in a row. So they've all been very close. The Pirates are probably going. They feel like this.
What do we have to do
to beat this
team? Yeah, 100%, man. And they got it. Their season's over certainly, but you don't want to get not bodied, but you don't want to lose every single game to the San Diego Padres. If you're the Pirates, they're going to want to come away with a dub at some point.
The crazy thing is,
and they've played well enough to win a bunch of these games.
They've lost 8 in a row, and they're 6 games under 500. But they're only 6 games out of a playoff spot.
That's true.
And while, they've got like 5 teams ahead of them, if they went on a huge run, like the Cardinals did, they won the 17 in a row, certainly within striking distance to make a run if they started playing well right now. I don't see it happening, but technically their season isn't over yet. But it's quickly going down the drain with an 8-game losing streak right now. But it's not like they have nothing to play for. They really do, and that's because the Braves have not played well, and the Mets have they had a hot streak, but they've cooled off. Cardinals lost again yesterday. Giants lost again yesterday. There's just some flicker of hope for all of those teams. Even the Cubs and the Reds aren't out. Cubs are only 4 games out of a playoff spot.
Crazy, man. I thought they were dead and buried.
They were dead and buried. They haven't even played well, and yet they've hung around at 4 games out. Are you telling me the Cubs don't have a shot at 4 games out? They do. The Reds have the best run differential of any losing team in baseball, plus 45. They're 4.5 games out. They're probably going, hey, we have 1 good week. We're now 2 games out of a playoff spot. There's still 40-plus games left in the season. All of those teams are still in it at this point.
Yeah, no question, man. No question. These games are so massively important, every single one. And, we've beaten this point to death, but those teams that we're neck and neck with, like the Diamondbacks, they're just not losing right now. They're handling business every single day. Had a comeback yesterday, down 4-1 to the Colorado Rockies. And the Rockies aren't a great team, but yeah, they're finding ways to win. They're dominating teams. They are a scary ass team, and I can't really put my finger on it except for massive contributions from guys like Eugenio Suarez and Ketel Marte. Only got 1 AB last night, I believe. He's still a little banged up, but their pitching's been good. Their bullpen's really good. So
Marte, by the way, has opened up the National League MVP race again with Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
he actually leads him in B-WAR. Marte is ahead of Ohtani now, so. Part of that, part of the equation when you talk about the end of season awards is how did your team do? And
they don't do that though for MVP.
Not as much.
Not
but
as
sometimes.
much.
There hasn't been a ton of last place MVPs.
A-Rod was one of them for the
Ernie
Rangers.
Banks, I think. Yeah. But for the most part, if your team surprises and does better, that gives you a better chance at an individual award. You don't think that when voters for Rookie of the Year go, the Padres, if they make the playoffs and the Pirates don't, that won't figure in their their votes.
And why in that award would it, but not so much in MVP?
I don't know.
Which is true.
I think it does in MVP.
I don't think so.
Manager of the Year, it certainly does.
Yeah.
You have to outperform expectations to be Manager of the Year. I think Mike Schilt is absolutely.
He's in the convo for
absolutely
sure. 100%
in the conversation. In fact.
The leader.
Is he the favorite in the National League for Manager of the Year? I would say Pat Murphy is probably up there. Mike Schilt is up there.
Torey
Lovullo again.
Yep.
Yeah, but they were a World Series team last year, so that raises expectations.
The Padres cut $90 million from their payroll. 90. And they're way outperforming what they did last year. Again, we're talking about the individual awards that, again, if you ask any of those guys, none of them really care about, certainly. But what Mike Schilt has been able to do, getting this much from this team is pretty astounding.
I'm horribly biased, and you are as well.
Yeah.
I think Skip Schumacher's done a pretty good job. They're still playing hard. They're still winning games. They're like 500 since the All-Star break with no players. Did you see what their GM did yesterday?
Yes.
Cleaned out the front office.
Booted
fired
everybody.
Pretty much everybody that had anything to do with Kim Ng or Derek Jeter got fired yesterday.
They
Other than Gabe Kapler, who continues to work for the team, doing God knows what as an assistant GM.
We know what he's doing.
Making TikToks.
You know what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
He's in waiting.
He's the next manager.
He's the next manager of the Miami Marlins.
When Skip gets his gets to be released from custody.
Yes. When his parole finally hits.
And that's what he's waiting. That is, I never even thought about that. That's what he's waiting for.
So I was reading the article about Peter Bendix, and one of the scouts he fired was a longtime Houston Astros scout. Now, again, Benny, you're talking Framber Valdez, all those studs.
Yeah.
Christian Javier.
Ocampo or whatever his name is. Yeah.
Is it Xavier Ocampo? I can't remember his name. But
Something
he
like
was
that,
some stud, right? Some stud scout. And he has found all these pieces. And, I think Jeter hired him away, and now Bendix wants to put his own stamp on it and is canning all of these people. So they said that there was a closed-door meeting yesterday with Peter Bendix and Gabe Kapler. And that's got to be, if I had to guess, hey, bud, just sit this, just write it out. This is what we're doing. We're all going to hire all our own guys, and we're going to start this thing fresh. You're going to be at the helm of the Miami Marlins in 3 months.
What a crock for the fans of the Marlins,
Terrible.
though. That they essentially torpedoed their own season this year.
After
with the plan
making the
already.
playoffs. Yep. Knowing
everything that was going to happen this year.
You want to talk about a pretty thankless job is going back and managing that team this year. After winning Manager of the Year, making the playoffs, and they go, we're going to cut. We're just going to cut everything. I want to put my stamp on it so badly that I'm willing to do this, and this. We're going to start fresh. I want.
And this isn't anything Skip's told us. This is just what you. This is
what you
free
know.
Observation,
100%
of what the Marlins have done based on their own moves by their general manager.
Well, and you're just talking about the Pirates and what they have and what they did and didn't do. I was out for the deadline, but there were a couple of those teams out there that you looked at and said, what are you trying to accomplish this year if you didn't move some of the pieces that you didn't move? And the Pirates are one of them where if you're a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, you got to be saying, bro, like, we've got a decent little core here. We're actually playing good baseball. Who'd they add to the deadline? Beeks?
And they traded their best starter, a guy named Martin Perez.
Yes, to the Padres
at the deadline.
Insane.
What the heck are you doing there? For nothing. For a rookie league Dominican player that the Padres gave up for Martin Perez has been fantastic in the first 2 starts for the Padres. I would honestly, and this again, biased, but I'd be terrified to do deals with A.J. Preller. He knows the talent. I mean, if he's got an interest in a player, my first thought is, what am I missing?
Yeah.
Like, even the guys that don't work out here, like Brent Rooker. A.J. at some point saw something in Brent Rooker that goes, I think this guy's got something. Matt Waldron, a player to be named later. A.J., that wasn't just random, just pick a guy off the list. He wanted Matt Waldron, from the beginning and said, I think there's something in there. AJ has that skill. Now, putting it all together into a winning roster, this is the first time we've ever totally seen that.
You mentioned Rooker, but how did we let him get away?
I mean, roster crunch is real.
It is.
And you can't keep everyone you want. And some guys get away for sure.
How did we lose him?
I think he played 2 games and we DFA'd him. I mean, it was...
Guys get 29 bombs
one of the best
right now.
players in the American League right now.
So good.
But he saw something. I mean, he didn't pick him up for no reason. He sees things in these guys. And if AJ has an eye on someone, I'm rethinking my strategy again. Hold on, you want him? I better think twice.
I'm trying to find the Brent Rooker deal, and I just can't remember.
I don't even know if there was a deal. I think he was literally a pickup and then a DFA at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, he played, and I remember when he came, I was like, good, it's Brent Rooker day. In my typical fashion. And he is, let's see, traded Rooker to Kansas City for Cam Gallagher.
Cam Gallagher.
Yeah, and then they traded him as well, or got rid of him.
Yeah, that's right.
Cam Gallagher, the catcher, the backup catcher.
All right, AJ doesn't know every single move. I guess he's not right.
He's not infallible. Holy crap. Well, we're going down to the game tomorrow. Going to try to go down and say hello to some of the guys, and hopefully we'll have some stories for you. Paulie and I are. We're going to go down after the show for the day game, and we've got the Odyssey company, what's it called? Like culture building.
Yeah, team building.
Team building. Well,
synergy.
Which is the good. If I have to do
my culture problem, we're starting our staycation tomorrow. We're going
to
do our staycation. That's why I'm not going.
I mean, if you don't care about the culture of this company, I'm not going to make you care about the culture.
Is anyone ever going to think that I care about the culture of anything?
That's
anyway?
the thing.
Is there any way for me to save that at this point? I don't think so.
I think if you show up, I think it would go.
I am showing up to work on my staycation this week, which Michael has already pointed out in the chat. That's leadership type stuff right there from me. So.
Yeah, but Paulie and I will be at the culture meeting, the culture get together, synergy, creating synergy with the team. And the building.
I'm allowing someone else to go in my place, thus creating even more culture.
You would actually make the culture worse if you were there, just because you would sit in the corner, you don't know anybody, you're kind of standoffish.
I'm making the right call.
Hannah said that yesterday. I went to the grocery store with Bo, and she and Taylor sat in the car. She goes, "What the hell took you so long?" I go, "I don't know. We were, chopping it up with this guy at the register." She goes, "You were talking to some guy?" I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "That never happened to me." I go, "Yeah, you're not approachable." She goes, "Ben's like that too." She goes, "You're married to one and your work married to another, and you're not very approachable." We were in there for like 40 minutes, chewing the fat with some guy, shooting the breeze. And she said, "Yeah, nobody comes up to me." I said, "Yeah, because you look mean, and you are the same. You look annoyed."
I don't look annoyed.
You don't look mean. You do look annoyed. You look put
big.
out.
I think it can be intimidating.
Save that,
my
Paulie.
size.
Save that.
My size can be intimidating.
Save that as well.
That won't come back to bite you.
That will not come back to get you at all, ever.
I'm okay with that drop, actually.
Who said there's not gold at the very end of a show?
Oh, is that the end? That's the music. That means we are at the end. It was good to have Paulie back today, our executive producer, imaging director. Great job, Paulie. Got Woodsy, Annie and Elston are standing by. They are coming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow. I got 2 cameras on. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6 a.m. More Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, everybody. So long.